this. No 40 babies were killed, but people died from all ages. I think there was even one pregnant woman that I don't think that is counted. Like she was like very late in her term, and even that is not counted there. So no 40 dead babies, but kids from all ages died. What is your point? That it didn't happen, that no one died, that they only killed like military?
Daniel, they only run
indiscriminately.
Based off of Jewish religious belief, a baby's life is not counted until after the womb, correct?
Daniel, they only run with the narrative of the 40 supposed babies beheaded and burnt alive. That's the only narrative they know.
Yeah, and they repeat it like for 17 months. Yeah. Even though already on the 10th of October, Israel published officially said there is no evidence of this 40 baby story. 3 days, 10th of October, yes, 2023, 3 days into the war, with all this mess, we also had to deal with this rumor and say that it didn't happen. But it doesn't matter, because facts don't matter.
Yeah, what matters is the thousands of children.
Oh, now what about ism and obfuscating away from the point that he claimed that there wasn't?
I didn't claim that. That was Diego. You have to get your people right.
Oh, I thought that was Diego talking. They all sound the same. All the Pelicans.
Bless you.
But that's what really. I mean, we all believe.
Nura, they said that they're gonna take all of Gaza. That's it. They've decided last night.
God, Baruch Hashem.
Well.
That's
the best thing that's going to happen to the Gaza.
Hopefully they get carpet bombed out of existence.
Only the goal was to get the hostages out. Now it just continues to go. This was never about the hostages.
The hostages are still not being
It was always about expanding the greater.
I want you to say a few words. Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
They still have got the hostages. What the fuck are you talking about?
Hiroshima. I just wish Gaza was farther away so we could nuke it.
I have a $10,000 stake and a
I know.
Disgusting.
I think they should send the Gazans to Greenland.
No, they should send them back to their houses in Jordan and Egypt.
You hear that? You guys never lived there? It was just desert land. Nothing was there.
I mean,
they made the desert bloom.
What happened after the 6-day war? Daniel, what happened after the 6-day war?
Do y'all know the quote, "The bride is beautiful, but she's married to another man"? Do you know what's up about?
Daniel, what was Gaza and the West Bank before the 6-day war, Daniel?
It was not a Palestinian state.
And what was under the authority of?
Egypt and Jordan. One was actually annexed, and one was just occupied. But you probably remember the protests and all the we need to liberate ourselves from the. No, it didn't happen. You know when the PLO. When the PLO was created, the Palestine Liberation Organization, 1964. While they still owned Palestine. So what they mean by PLO is they mean Israel, basically.
Israel proper,
Let's be honest.
Or there's a place for you. Jordan's beautiful this time of year.
Y'all are very hurtful people.
I know, but we're gonna prevail. That's all that matters.
Cool nigger.
Sand niggers, remember?
No, you're just a nigger.
Damn it.
You would think that 0 children have died in the West Bank, because of course there's no hostages in the West Bank by the hands of the IDF, but based off of UNICEF, over
what hostages?
50 Palestinian children.
What hostages are in the West Bank? And Keegan, they don't even.
No, exactly. That's my point. No, I said because there's no
Keegan, they love killing
in the
their own
West
people.
Bank, you would assume that there was 0 deaths by the zero
Keegan, they shoot
children
us like we're dogs.
I mean, you kind of are.
in the West Bank.
Well, you know what they say about that? You know what they say?
Traffic dogs.
By the hands of the IDF, over 100.
You know what they say? You know what they say about assuming, right? You know what you say about assuming.
So you're saying there are hostages in the West Bank?
If you assume that is the only reason why we have a beef, like until 7th of October that they took hostages, it was like paradise with the Palestinians. Only love and kisses and exchanging recipes. Yeah, it was amazing.
Daniel, stop lying. It's an open air prison.
That's right.
So here's a really, if you guys allow me to speak, because I know that joke you brought up.
I know the open air prisons with all their pizzerias and the Mercedes dealership and BMW dealership.
All right.
Gaza, open air prison.
Continue.
Buy your BMW 36.
So
Eat
news
you
has
a pizza.
since October 7th in 2023,
Yes.
143 Palestinian children have been killed in the West Bank.
So what's your point?
Okay.
Every 2 days. That's
Jesus.
nearly a 250% increase from the previous 9 months beforehand.
Yes, I think it's a really awful thing that the Palestinians. No, I think first of all, I think it's very amoral for the Palestinians to use children to fight wars, and I agree they shouldn't do it.
So, Mod Daniel.
Wait, you?
I am not a mod.
Yes, you are.
Oh shit, I am.
Daniel,
Why should I?
The green bean.
Why we need to drain this room?
Daniel.
Keegan, that's the. Do you want to have an honest conversation about it? Or it's about propaganda? I'm not the person.
Where did you go? Did he go with Princess? Yeah.
Daniel, boom the room.
I don't do this.
What the
I'm not
fuck?
sure.
Church, shut up.
Adrian. Hold on, do it. Adrian.
Where is Princess? Yeah.
The snakes.
I'm so glad that Siraj is here, and I'm not gonna say anything else
Did
about it
you
because
slap
he
the
acted
piano?
like he didn't say anything else. But just know something big for Siraj is coming up.
How many supporters down in the audience? Now you have a Jew and a Christian running this room. So prepare yourselves.
Take over. Jewish takeover.
It
Now
sounds like
the
he's
Jews
working
control the
on the
room.
Jewish temple. That's what it sounds like.
She might be
I don't have
parts of
anything to
party.
do with this one. Not at all.
I didn't know that Julian Juan was
That's what I would say too.
Spanish
Siraj is
supporter.
not only laughing, so. But in all seriousness, Siraj is literally probably like the nicest person I've met on the internet. And like the most intelligent and who's willing to talk to anybody until they run him.
Anyway,
run him into
it
the
was
ground.
more fun
Then
with
he'll politely
Princess.
exit and never talk to you again.
You know why I call you the Patriot, Dan? It's because every time
Where did Diego go as well? Although he was silent for a long time.
So why has 150 Palestinian children have died in the West Bank from IDF soldiers?
Because they shoot rockets all the time.
So first of all,
Children.
when you say
There's a
yeah,
war money.
hold on. You say children. Can you give me the definition of a child? Because
Under
in my eyes.
under the age of 18.
Okay. So and how many like do you believe without knowing facts, but like according to your
Join our
beliefs,
Discord so we
how
can
many,
continue
like,
the conversation on
that
Discord.
go and try
Let's
to
make more
confront,
Discord. No, I'm
soldiers
good.
or,
I don't
like,
care about
settlers
Discord or
to
Telegram. I don't give two shits about them.
Children. I'm talking about children.
Come and look at our Telegram and post in all of our cool little channels on our Discord. You can put your content there so people can see it and waste their time looking at you.
Almost all of them, maybe.
I'm good. I already spam chillism.
Maybe, I mean, you need to understand the logic, okay? The logic of sending a child.
Joe Green wants to
so
say
when
something.
they get hit with consequences, then you would be like, oh my God.
Joe!
Yes, do you know children? Do you know?
Joe Green!
Do you know that 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds
Joe!
Palestinians on a stabbing spree?
Good to see you, Joe!
13-year-olds.
I gotta get to the gym, Joe. Quick, right away.
Probably when you go and you try to kill people, then you die. And I don't know this number, also those terror groups that many here supports, they don't recruit only adults, they recruit children, and they send them on all kinds of missions. And I think that if we can agree on something, is that children should not be part of any armed conflict. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this?
Should children not be involved in any armed conflict?
Yes, do you agree or not? Yes. Do you agree or not?
Child should be involved. Of course not.
And if you do send your child on something like this that a child should not do, then yes, there are risks like this. And when a 17-year-old, I see 17-year-olds, if they throw a rock at your face, it's not a child, Usually the pro-police want to describe it as like a 4-year-old picking up like a little stone and throws it like a... No, that is not the case.
Hey, Daniel, hold on.
And also, here's an example. A gun, not just
Daniel, here's an example. Israeli prison service did not respond to the questions about the cause of death. It said only that a 17-year-old from the West Bank had died in Megiddo prison, a facility that was previously been accused of abusing Palestinian inmates. So you have a 17-year-old who died in prison. So it's not solely they were gunned down in the street anyways.
Well, you don't know who killed them. Do you know that they also... Do you know how many people Sinwar killed himself in prison? You know that Sinwar used to be called the butcher of Khan Yunis, and not because he butchered Jews, because he butchered Palestinians. Everyone that spoke against him or his brother, I think there was a rumor that was spread, I think, about his brother, that he's gay. Anyone that said this rumor is not with us anymore. And yes, also people kill each other. And some of the Palestinians also go on hunger strikes. It's, without context, you cannot just say, oh, he died, and then you know who caused it. Yes, he may die.
It is very sad how Palestinians treat their own people, to be honest.
No, it's a leverage. They are basically the weapon, and they say it very much openly.
That's why I say it's very sad that they are doing things to their own people.
It's not just them, it's the entire movement.
Israel to defend their own people.
But it's not just them, it's the entire movement of the Free Palestine movement.
I hear the stories that you guys are creating in your own head.
Which stories?
Which stories are we creating?
Well, just all these people who could kill themselves in prison and these 17.
No, I didn't even say once people
They killed themselves. You never said that.
I didn't say.
Stop strawmanning the argument, Keegan. He never said that. He never said that, Keegan. You're a fucking liar. Stop being a lying piece of shit, Keegan.
Two articles, one from the Washington Post, one from the Times, of two different.
Keegan, but no one said it.
A 13-year-old
But no one said they killed themselves.
and shot through a window, and she wasn't involved in the conflict whatsoever.
By who? Shot by who?
By the IDF.
Analysis of what type
How do you know that how do you know it was by the IDF?
Yeah, you do realize.
No, I think it's, you notice that it's in your head. Does it say? Okay, so you're the one that is lunatic.
Daniel,
caliber.
Daniel, I have a question. Hold on, Daniel, I have a question.
No, they don't talk like that.
Oh my God. Is the West Bank, Daniel, is it a functioning city where they have crime and they have muggings and they have murder, and it's also a violent place where people have guns and just fucking shooting at each other and arguing too, right?
And
It's like a small
Could that be possible? Because I mean, there's people that get shot with stray bullets in fucking Chicago. People get murdered in Chicago, in Detroit,
even in
Los Angeles, New York.
even in the
bullet.
Even in the
pretty random.
they listen. They do kill their own, and they have listen. Even in the Israeli Arab Society, we have a problem.
We're a peaceful people, unified,
Hold on.
fight each other.
Even in Israel, in the Arab population, the levels of crime is much higher. It's a real issue that is being discussed of how to.
We should
Hold on.
Shh. In the United States and make sure blacks just are always occupied. I like this idea. You guys are full on racist. I like this idea. We should make enterprise.
Keegan, hello, Keegan, hello. Maybe try to hold on, Keegan. Maybe try to step out of your head and join the conversation. It seems that you are the one. You like literally a minute ago blamed us that we gotta live in a world of delusion. You are like in a world that is not even connected to our discussion.
Can I ask you a question? What's your thesis? What?
He doesn't have one.
My thesis.
What is your thesis? Just articulate it.
Kills a bunch of kids.
Hold on.
My thesis is what Benjamin Netanyahu said in 2002 in front of our Congress, which is that he wants a greater Israel. He does not want the West Bank. He does not want Gaza. He wants.
When did he say he wants greater Israel?
2002. Just go look it up, Daniel. In 2002, he went in front of Congress and he said he wants the greater map of Israel. He shows Israel. And he
that's
all
what he
the
showed.
I don't think so. Hold on, let me see.
That's when he showed them up and everybody is like talking.
No, hold on. Greater Israel, when they make Greater Israel, this is not Greater Israel. Greater Israel, when they talk about, is including Jordan and Syria and Lebanon and all that.
Yes, I know. It's a much larger issue because
hold on. 1 second, relax. Are you okay? Can you hold on a second? Did he show a map of Greater Israel, really? Or you just kind of manipulating?
Daniel, go look it up.
I'm asking before you waste my time. Can you tell me?
I think that's what he did. Yeah.
Yes, he went from our own. He went from the U.S. Congress.
2000 and?
He didn't even address Congress.
I think it was 2002 or was it 2004? It's 2002 or 2004. He addressed Congress in the early 2020s or in the early 2000s.
2002. By 2022, he wasn't in Congress, so let's try your.
Not 2022.
Okay, I thought you said that first.
It's in 2002 or 2004. He addresses Congress. He shows the plan for the greater Israel. Does not show West Bank. Does not show Gaza. He says that Israel needs to be its own nation. Full of its own
Israel needs to be its own nation.
He wasn't even a member of. He wasn't in the government.
I'm trying to understand because this is like this Greater Israel nonsense is not existing. This is why it's very weird to me what you're saying because it's
not part of before the House Government Reform Committee. Are you referring to that? On the conflict with Iraq and Israeli perspective?
It was actually a cleaning act.
Yeah, in his testimony, he advocated for a U.S. invasion of Iraq, asserting that removing Saddam Hussein would have positive effects on the region. Again, he did not discuss Israel's territorial ambitions or the idea of greater Israel.
It's easier if you find the link and you.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Yeah.
You can. He's a hard-working guy. He's in an Audi right now doing a test drive trying to figure out what's wrong with the Nazi missions test that he gave back on the fucking machine that gives him the Jew hate indicator.
Can you do that in more of a Chicago accent? Like
that wasn't even like Chicago. That was like fucking.
No, it was close.
That was like Minnesota or some shit.
No, it
was a little more north.
The point is, Pete, we're making things up in our heads and just projecting outward like Keegan.
Well, he didn't address it in 2004 either.
We're making things up in our heads.
So, I'm not sure how we got to this talking point. This is the problem with talking to pro parties. They cannot go deep. They always have to move the goalpost to something else. I thought we were talking about the West. I thought we were talking about the West Bank and the children in the West Bank. How did we get?
No, don't change the side. He asked what my thesis was.
Yeah, what is your thesis?
What is your thesis?
My thesis is that many people in the IDF and the Israeli administration would love for Israel to be one nation without any form of the West Bank or Gaza at all. I also believe that they believe that they would love for the United States to be truly involved with Syria, Lebanon, even Jordan and Egypt. I think
No, but what is your thesis? What is your thesis about those that you say that people are dying in prison and 100 and whatever children died in the West Bank? What is the thesis about this? That we will kill them slowly because they give birth more than they kill, you know? Like even in Gaza, there were 150,000 births in the last I don't know, like 1 year into the war, there were 150,000 births and like 30,000 deaths. So what is the plan exactly? In your again, what is the thesis that we were talking about, the children that are dying, and and I told you yes, they're recruiting children, yada yada yada, and then you started laughing, and then he asked, okay, so what is your thesis? What is happening? We just go and we like to kill children, and then you. I know, I heard someone that said, I said, okay, but whatever I said, and then yes, it's a slow genocide for 75 years.
Daniel, don't you know that this is just a projection for depressed, lonely people who have no contentment in their life, so they use it as political fodder to make themselves dopamine?
Yes. The population has only increased tenfold, so it's like the worst genocide.
Well, look, the issue is
really bad at this
if
genocide.
you attached all the Arabs in the West Bank to Israel, they would have to get voting rights, because then you truly would have whatchamacallit, like South Africa. I'm sorry, my brain's not working right. Apartheid. So, and the percentage of Jews compared to the percentage of non-Jews would be much more drastic. So
hold on, what is apartheid? What is apartheid? Doesn't the United States have citizens, and correct me, maybe I'm wrong, that cannot vote?
Yeah.
The entire United States.
We have territories.
Yes, I understand.
We also have people commit crimes that stripped of their ability to vote.
Is this apartheid? Not talking about the criminals that actually, just
talking about those who vote.
In Israel, there is no, you cannot take someone's voting power, even if he's like a mass murderer.
All I'm saying is, cleaving. I was just saying it's not going to happen because one of the reasons is cleaving that territory onto Israel completely changes demographic profile of the country.
No, but if they are part of a territory,
that
is maybe
federation. But someone said Israel as opposed the country as opposed to the confederation.
Yeah, but I don't think that we want them. We are not. Fortunately, there is no match until there's a overall reform in the Palestinian society. I don't think that.
I have to say, we're done with terrorism. We're gonna focus building up a country through peaceful means, and then when we can talk about it.
That will never happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, no, because the thing is that they get a lot of wind and gasoline from the pre-Palestine movement.
Daniel, it will happen after the carpet bombing.
No.
After what?
At the end of carpet bombing. There's no carpet bombing. No, there's no carpet bombing.
Israel doesn't
have
the carpet bomb.
The U.S. does. They can supply it.
No. If we wanted, Yaakov, the problem is not technicality. That is not the reason why we don't, because we cannot or we don't have the right equipment. We just not. It's not something that we do. Carpet bomb.
No. It's carpet bombing is only done by large bombers dropping 50,000-pound loads at a time.
Okay, I'm just saying that. I'm saying that the problem is. I get it. I'm saying the problem is not that we don't have.
First of all, you don't have planes to do carpet bombing, but more importantly, if you did have them, you wouldn't. So it's not a very good use of.
Can I borrow your B-52s for a couple days?
I'm moving and I need something to help me move.
I'll give you some C-17s. Wait till Israel gets their C-46s, refueling tankers. They have really old refueling tankers. And the Houthis will be really pissed off.
That's sexy when you talk about all those things.
You're moving from what?
It's inappropriate. He's a married man.
They're getting long-range refueling tankers.
But Daniel is not jealous.
And what she doesn't know won't hurt her.
Daniel, if we were to make you a 5-star general of the IDF right now and you had to lead the troops into battle, what would you do? What would be your operations order?
I said it already. I would carve Gaza into like 5-6 parts with a corridor. With a corridor, like the one. No. Like each, Gaza City, Rafah, Khan Yunis, like each basically like. No, but there are 5. I can open the map now if you want me to tell you exactly. Basically, on the map you can easily see it because there are already a few corridors and you can see where the others should be where they could be, where there are less like buildings and stuff like that. So you cut Gaza into 5 parts, and from that moment no one can pass except through the checkpoint. When you pass through the checkpoint, of course you cannot carry, and of course everything, when we do the corridor, we also blow up everything below it, so there's no tunnels that can connect those different parts. Anyone that passes
One of the most interesting
needs to go through like a checkpoint with like facial recognition, of course without weapons, and to give some kind of an autonomy to each section, kind of like so they would manage themselves. Like in a city kind of form.
What would these districts be, and what would separate them? Who would govern these 5 pieces?
Isn't this the plot to Hunger Games?
We would just be on the borders between the different.
The 5 different pieces, in order to go from one to the other, there would be checkpoints.
Yes.
And that would be managed by Israel.
Him to you, like we would create it. It could be also like we did in the past. It was like at the end that we gave it to a company, like an American company that did it. And also, it can also be completely automated from afar. Like in the airport, you go through a gate. There's a camera. If it's okay, it's opens. If not, someone comes. Yeah, whatever. Yes, there is technology for this. And then if someone passes through the facial recognition and he's a wanted person, he's arrested. They cannot smuggle weapons. They cannot transfer weapons, and they cannot coordinate as one big army. And then to kind of wait a bit.
Daniel, can we stop being pussies and just shoot them outside? It'd make it so much easier. Seriously.
Oh my God.
So you're suggesting you implement a series of processes and controls using technology and automation?
And bullets.
And also like to give like a chance for like the day after, like because I do think that everyone is taking advantage of the Palestinians, their leaders and the Free Palestine movement. And if they will get a chance to manage themselves as like each one and take care of the people and whatever, and yes, they would only take care of their own little city.
Daniel, this is why we can't have peace in the Middle East.
Why?
You just gotta pull the Band-Aid off. You keep
You're
wanting
gay.
You keep wanting to pull the Band-Aid like slowly, Daniel. You're like, oh, just gentle, don't grip the
No, listen, at the end of the
just grab my titties. You're like, run off.
No, at the end of the day, we do have our like moral code, and what you're suggesting is not something that is legal.
Can we? Please go school.
The what hotel?
Look, there's like maybe 2,000 of them in the world. It's a rounding error.
That wouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, 400 families worldwide.
Like that.
I want to know what would Keegan left. But what would Keegan do if he were Netanyahu? I want to understand what he would do.
He would stop everything and say, "You go back to the way you were."
No, he would gas more Jews.
Probably.
Julian, what would you do if we made you the 5-star general?
We have to kill our enemy before our enemy kills us. That's all I'm saying.
Julian, what would you do? Luja Stickles, what would you do if you were the 5-star general of the IDF and you had to lead the operation to free the hostages? What would you do?
Pepe, what would you do?
Me? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I was an Israeli,
no, if you were king of Israel.
No, if you were
You're king of Israel, you can do whatever you want, Pepe. What do you do?
I mean, I would probably be so personally aggrieved and offended. I don't know. I might even just want to wipe them out. I mean,
There you go. That's basically what I'm saying.
I'm not like somebody who is level-headed enough to be like a general or anything. So, you know.
Yeah, we agree.
Person that.
Don't forget, the purpose is to free the hostages without killing them. If they die in the process of liberating them, it was a bad operation. That means it was a failure. Some people don't even know what a fucking failure is anymore.
Failure wasn't on your door, John.
No, I mean,
They're coming for you in Chicago.
if you look at like when we dropped 2 nukes on Japan, they understood what genocide was, and they realized that it was going to go nowhere except for their extinction. I think you can always be brutal to the point that it's. I mean, I don't know what.
The message.
Yeah,
Oh, are you sure about that, Pepe? You mean to tell me the emperor didn't cut a deal with America to remain emperor, you dumb motherfucker?
He was actually in negotiations prior to the bomb dropping. There's some debate as to whether it was necessary or not.
It was MacArthur blasted those imperialist bastards back to the Stone Age.
Well, we did this exact same fucking thing to Dresden because we weren't going to fight it out on the ground with the.
Dresden was pretty bad. What, 400,000 people burned up in a couple hours?
Well, Americans. Everybody at that time had skin in the game because everybody had relatives that were fighting over there. They were not willing to lose more people, so they said the Nazis wanted to fight it out on the streets still, and they said, "All right, fuck you. We'll just go ahead and just level Dresden." And they realized, well, I mean, the only sensible thing to do was to stop fighting, because they will continue to take on massive.
What are you talking about? They fought to the very end.
Wait, what number did you throw around as to the number of deaths at Dresden?
400.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's 22,500 to 25,000.
Really?
Some reports claimed up to 200,000. Germans, Dresden historians commissions concluded that the casualty were between 22,500 and 2,500.
Don, weren't you at the Citadel? Come on.
I thought Dresden was like one of the worst carpet bombings in world history.
It was. I think the claims were highly exaggerated.
Okay, so I'm off by a factor of 100. Oops. 200. Whoops.
We'll never let the facts get in the way of a good argument.
Let's still not admit that we're wasting our time. Thank you all very little. We'll call you. Don't call us.
That's what I say to people. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good argument.
The point is, I'm going to the gym, and I hope all of you people go to the gym and read a good book today. God bless you all.
You've been saying that for 3 hours.
Yeah, like I don't actually believe you work out.
Yeah,
You are fit.
I'm going to put the link in the chat of me live streaming myself on the treadmill sweating. You'll see.
Nobody wants
when you
to
said
watch
I'm going
you
to the
do
gym, it sounds
yoga
like
in short shorts, John.
Yeah, we've seen you naked almost.
Yeah.
Like when back in your
He belches!
Instagram live, you were pretty much like in underwear.
Did you like my underpants?
Fully naked.
You know,
You have not seen him fully naked,
No.
like with his butthole pointing to the sun and taking
They
his
allow
photo.
Is a Guatemala
Yeah.
Switzerland.
There's a
Like, what
photo
the
of
front
him.
door are you
Why don't
talking
you
about, girl?
create an OnlyFans?
Who says I haven't already created an OnlyFans, but they banned me. They took my butthole money. I was doing naked yoga in my living room, and I made $100,000, and they confiscated it because they said my schmeckle was too small.
He for my bungle.
Are you trying to
Say your smile was too small.
Schmeckle? It's a dick.
They said only big, giant,
Yiddish.
big elephant cockies preferred to make big money. Daniel, have you ever spent money on OnlyFans?
No. Only incoming.
Do you think there is a booming OnlyFans business happening in the Gaza Strip right now?
Gaza. Say
No,
Gaza.
you have to say it like the Arabs. I like how the Americans say Gaza.
Gaza. It's not the Americans, it's the idiots.
No. When the Americans try to pretend like you
No,
know,
but that's just the trolls. That's just the trolls.
no. Like some of these.
So wait, if you're telling me they free the hostages today, they could have peace tomorrow?
They have 9 days to free the hostages. 9 days.
This is when the operation starts in 9 days.
Yeah. So this I read this morning.
This is basically I think it's Trump is doing like a Middle East tour, and I think that they're waiting until he will not be on Middle East grounds to do this.
He's going to make a final ultimatum. Release the hostages or be destroyed.
Is the airport
That's
open?
right.
Is the airport open or just for?
The airport was never closed, but many airlines
The airlines
stopped for
are
a
not
few
flying.
days.
Oh, I thought it was closed
Well,
for a few hours.
No, I think that well, I need to check, but that would be surprising to me. Maybe for a few hours, yes.
He said the airport was still open, but the airlines were not flying in.
No, El Al I think always flies, but maybe like they delayed for like a few hours to kind of make sure. Yes, that could be. And I think, as far as I know, the FAA and the European counterparts didn't issue anything. So that's a good sign.
There has sort of been a understanding that Israel won't go after the Houthis as long as the United States was bombing the crap out of them. But apparently we haven't been bombing the crap enough out of them. So I wonder
No, I think that Israel had to respond to this. I don't think that we could have.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I would expect they would.
And did you hear about this flotilla thing that is developing?
Yeah, there's an interesting report out of Malta that the
Interesting report out of Malta.
That's going on to Lebanon, to Beirut, to resupply Hezbollah, and they wanted like some people to look the other way, so that maybe that they actually, and they're pretty good with drones. You know, I love the fact that
they wanted
everyone wanted to go straight to Israel, like. You know, if a lot of people fly a drone from one boat that's 20 miles away than it is from 500 miles away.
Yaakov, why do you assume there was a drone?
What?
The only source that we have is the people on the boat that said it.
All I'm saying is, if they say it was a drone, let's just run with that. All I'm saying is...
No. I understand what you're saying, and it's too far from us. But the only source of that, basically, what the Malta government said, we will pull the boat to the port. We will also finance the repair under the conditions that we can check that you actually have all the humanitarian aid on board. And they
wouldn't even let them on board.
They refused to allow them, and now they're like stuck. It's like, oh my God, we are stuck. And when they came to the boat, they wanted to evacuate, and they refused.
Well, I'm more interested in this boat shadowing it that's trying to go to Beirut. Does Israel have Does Israel have has destroyers off of? I think they don't have destroyers. Corvettes off of Beirut.
I don't know what they have. Well, things change all the time. But this flotilla is really interesting story. I don't think it gets enough coverage. People are not talking about it, but I think it's really interesting what's happening there. And Greta Thunberg is now there.
More than one ship.
What's going on, guys? What's the problem with Hugo Boss making military uniforms?
Well,
nobody knows and nobody cares.
He designed the Nazi uniforms in World War II.
It was not. It is not. It was a deal of
That's
time.
cool, I guess.
Now you do.
It's deal of time.
It's like from 3 hours ago. Maybe we can change it.
Have you seen, aren't Adidas like Nazi shoes too, or aren't they from like Nazi
Two German brothers. One did.
Oh my God! Nobody cares.
Yes. One did.
This is what your title's about. You say you don't say nobody.
Yes, but it's not my room.
Oh, but change the title.
Let's occupy it. We're good at occupying things. Come on, let's occupy the title.
Occupation. There it is.
Okay, Uncle, is that good?
Oh, yeah, what's going on, Uncle?
From the title to the pinned link.
So now you guys want to
Hey Daniel, you know how you were saying that the Hamas are using the Palestinian people as a proxy and inflicting pain? It's almost like they're doing a Hannibal directive.
I mean, the Palestinian people voted Hamas in, and the Israeli government approved them. This is a problem that they all seem like they all chose.
Right.
Oh, McSad's here.
Hey.
I just think
I love McSad.
not enough people respect their wishes. Both of these states decide to deal with these issues this way.
Oh, you upgraded Hamas to a state?
I'd say that they're an organization of people exercising sovereignty.
Well, they're territory. They have territory.
So
They
they're just
have.
a governmental
Oh
body
my
of
God!
the
They don't have a
They
currency. They don't have a
They
separate
have-
currency.
have-
Masters.
have territory. They
Not
have.
every state has a currency.
They have so.
No, technically, Hamas would be considered like a Republican or a
They are-
Democrat.
Besides the Vatican, which state doesn't have a currency?
I don't know, just like Liechtenstein.
El Salvador. El Salvador has gold dollar.
They just use the Swiss. They're too small. They have this.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. They're too small. You
Okay,
just
but in
take-
general, the norm is most
Produce the
states have a
currency.
currency, and they have
No,
ambassadors.
El Salvador uses U.S. dollars.
Yes, you're right. A good, non-belligerent state would have
They use Bitcoin too.
and big ivory towers where justice prevailed. But,
Yeah, but that's
this
not a
is
position.
a rogue state. It's still a state.
You don't like to be in the state? Do you feel it's dirty?
No, first of all, yes. But no, I don't mind too much. I just like it's kind of like every time I look, it looks weird.
Like, 1 second, Daniel.
But okay, we can stay. Yes.
Yeah, we can stay. We can boom it in eventually.
Would it be accurate to say that Germany is a single state, or is it like large with huge different regions and it's multiple states combined in a German federation?
It's a federation.
So it's multiple German states federally recognizing a single German international identity.
I guess like the Americans in a way.
Yeah,
Right.
Except there are different areas. Bavaria is a subset. You know, you have.
Exactly. So like Bavaria, Palestine exists the same way Bavaria does. It's some
But
rogue
Bavaria
state that
is-
won't
No,
federate.
it
because
doesn't work.
Palestine
It
is
doesn't
not part of the Israeli territory. Bavaria is a region within Germany.
It's like Bavaria is to New York.
Okay, let's say this. If West Bank and Gaza are fully within Israeli sovereign control, then Israel has occupiers in like 2 regions, and those occupiers have formed their own self-government. And I'm still going to say, that looks like a damn state.
Yeah, I think it looks like a state.
I mean, call a spade a spade.
That's right. I agree with that.
Now
Hey,
listen,
don't be racist.
now slow down. It is a militant, belligerent state that is very justifiably subject to war from its neighbors, but it's a state.
It is a state, and it's sovereign. They have a government.
Yeah, but they're not in control of their borders, and that's a pretty important thing to be.
Yeah, they're a shitty state.
The human brains want continuity or contiguousness. If it's not unity or union or one state and it's separated, people can't accept that as being a state.
Well, what was it in the Camp David Accord? They wanted to put a 36-kilometer tunnel connecting the two. They're pretty good at tunnels. Should have thought about that.
But that's the problem. There's room for interpretation and how somebody can perceive whether it's a state or not.
Well, no, see, that's what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of propaganda, a lot of confusion thrown around. Who started Israel? Were they white Europeans? Who are the Jews? Is the Bible made up? All of this is apparently relevant in the question of Israel-Palestine. But the question of the Palestinian movement, the way they organize, the people who have decided to, like, you know, consciously assemble into civil union with each other, whether by, like, gang alliance and terror or, like, voting.
Or inbreeding.
However they've done it, through religion, through language, through culture, through geography. These people, wherever they are a state. They are people with a very specific history. And I'm saying they are, as a state, belligerent assholes that, like, should expect a lot of fucking war the way they act with their neighbors. But, like, listen, they can do what they want. I think denying their statehood is, like, a weird maneuver. It's just like, this is so evil and cruel. How could any sane
Migzed, you're married. You haven't heard a no in 20 years. Do you know how many no's it takes to get to a yes?
How? No, listen. Here's the problem. Here's why no conscious, like, proper organized state existing today with a proper heritage and people to protect. None of those people could checkmark the statehood of the Palestinians with their current platform. Because it is genocidal, idiotic, ahistoric, and just generally violent and cruel. No sane organizer of civilians would agree to the style of negotiation that the Palestinians are engaged in. So as a result, their statehood is left as something known by the people and never acknowledged because of their evil intent. That's why if they were to just say, like, hey, guess what? We're gonna make, like, Palestine gonna be right next to Israel, period, end of story. Come see the Judea we have in the West Bank. It's real cool. If they just checkmark that, the whole thing would be over. It's silly. Because they're a state.
But the people on this app,
Getting back and forth, are they a state? Aren't they a state?
the people on this app are unaware of this 3-letter word called the law, and therefore they're incompetent, have no morals, no virtue, and they're just virtue signalers and propaganda pushers.
Speaking of, did anybody see the Louis Theroux West Bank documentary?
Talking about the one with Louis Theroux?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
I've not seen it yet. What was it like? A lot of lefties talking about it.
I mean, it kind of made me. Well, I'll just say this: it doesn't show Israel in a good light.
Yeah, it's like the violent.
If you want to see Israel in a good light, you schmuck, you need to read the Torah.
I'm just giving. It was clear that it was. He deliberately documentary and just shine Israel in a negative light.
Israel shines bright in the sky like a Zohar.
Are you saying that someone created the video that portrays Israel in a bad light?
Yeah.
No.
But you know, Louis Theroux has always been impartial. I've seen him.
Yeah, no, it was a reporter from UK that interviewed the Hilltop Boys. You know, those gangs of Jews that terrorized the Palestinians?
Yeah, I'm not so naive, and I saw the settlers, and I think it's a bit skewed in the way that it's a good. No, like you can watch it. I mean, it's basically about the settlers, but he makes a lot of like commentaries that are either factually wrong or like a bit biased. For example, there's a part.
You think he skewed his presentation of the documents?
He skewed his reasoning of stuff that he said in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was giving reasoning that are from his point of view, not from reality, like explaining stuff.
So
like
you're saying it was more him talking, less he could show Jewish Israeli children terrorizing Palestinians or joking about it or something?
I didn't see Jewish people terrorizing.
Yeah,
and the only video. There was one part that they showed something, which is a video that he didn't document that he got. And you know, basically, what usually happens that you don't see how things happen. You just see like a segment, you know. And this is there's a part where Daniela Weiss kicks him like kind of roughly, like kind of pushes him.
He gets
what she was trying to say. No, she pushes him. She kind of like pushes him with two hands, kind of strong. Okay.
Okay.
And basically, what she wanted to do, like, okay, I push you, and now. And basically what she wanted to say, now you hit me back, but now start rolling, okay? And then they will say, oh my God, he's hitting a woman, or something like this, okay? This is what she wanted to say, that basically if you will start videoing now, and you don't show me like pushing you, then you will be like, oh my God, this guy is just like attacking this woman. And there was a part where he said, she's like, my goal is to bring people to kind of settle here and to like create more settlements and more Jews to come. And he's like, but look, this is like a Palestinian village. What do you think about them? And she's like, I don't think about them. Like, what do you mean? Like I'm focused about bringing Jews. I don't think about them like either way. And then he said it sounds psychotic or psychopathic, okay? And she's like, she looked at him like weird, like, and she explained like, I have children and I care for my children. I don't care for other children. It doesn't mean that I like hate them or that I would like, I don't know, throw them under the bus. I just, I see it like I don't care for them. And I think to portray this as psychopathic, it sounds a bit like, where did you come from? Like, and honestly, like, I have a lot of criticism to Daniela Weiss and I don't align with her ideology. But in that context of what I saw, if I would be like out of the blue, I'm like, why is that psychopathic story?
Well, I will say what stood out to me is I understand they're soldiers, they're not professional police officers, which generally there's a difference even here between, a 20-year-old that's enlisted and somebody who makes a career out of being a law enforcement officer. But the soldiers did seem to be kind of like bullies, unprofessional.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, just how they kept on asking for his passport and stuff, and how they admitted to lying that they did, basically that saying that they couldn't really arrest them for picking the olives, but that, they were just basically trying to intimidate them and to go away, and if that didn't work, then, they said, well, you know what, we won't talk about any further, and like basically insinuating that they would I guess find a reason to haul him to jail.
That is a lot of, the thing that she said are, and again, I'm talking because I also saw the movie, and I saw like IDF soldiers are acting very professionally. Asking for someone's passport, I don't think it's that not legitimate when you gonna like standing next to a checkpoint with a camera and they want to know who you are and what you do there.
Let me put it this way.
And one second.
We also have different rights here.
Hold on.
Because here in the United States, you couldn't.
One second. Let me just finish. Let me just finish. First of all, I don't know about that. I don't know how many checkpoints and military you have in the United States. But the guy that you were talking about that said that about arresting them, he was basically avoiding the question because he didn't say we're gonna arrest them, and he was like an officer. Not an 80, he was like a 40-year-old man. He wasn't like an 18-year-old boy. And the people, those soldiers, when they understood that they are being asked questions, they don't have any authority to speak to the media, said, okay, we just turn around and left. They didn't curse, they didn't laugh, they didn't shout, they didn't push, they were not rude. I think that a lot of your interpretations come from like the way that I don't know. I didn't see this in the movie, to be honest. That they were rude or unprofessional.
Daniel or Pepe, what was like the smoking gun? What like horrifying content of abuse and oppression was caught on film and then presented? Like, because so far it just sounds like the documentary was kind of an editorial choice.
I would say, like, maybe for me, the highlight would be that you had the Palestinians that lived near the settlements, and they the Israeli military showed up, and you could see like the green lasers and stuff getting shine through the window, from their rifles. And I don't know. It just seemed like it's kind of hard to know how to interpret it. But I mean, that to me, that's kind of weird. Like, in the United States, you have to have a very good reason for the police to point their rifles.
Hey, but Pepe,
Pepe,
this is not the United States.
You're talking
We're
about
talking
the
about the
US,
West.
where it's really a safe country and nobody is threatening them.
No, in the West Bank, you have I don't know if you ever seen a map of the West Bank, but it's like a Swiss cheese. There's like a Palestinian village next to a settlement, next to a Palestinian village, and there need to be some separation, and this is why the army is there. This is why there are checkpoints.
1 second.
There are different zones.
I'm trying to understand, Zahari. You're saying that there were Palestinians in a simple Palestinian village that had green,
They're in a house.
dots on them?
Well, it looked like just a laser that was on a standard carbine or rifle.
But we don't know who was fighting the laser. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you do. It showed on camera. It showed the military pulling up, and
you see you see the car passing, and then you see a laser coming from when they film the car, they film it from the top, meaning they were above it, I don't know, second, third floor, and the laser came straight.
Slow down.
And it wasn't from the car.
Are you saying that this was out in the field at night?
No. This was in one of their homes. They were in a building, in some kind of a building. And to me, to be honest, it could be that it was there a soldier making fun, but it could also be them. The guy comes to do a documentary. They are obviously part of this documentary. They want to create, this is why they also took him to places where they hoped they would. He even asked him, did you take me there because you knew that they would send you back? And he's like, no, I didn't know they would send me back. I thought I was allowed to go until here, and now it's until here. I'm not saying that it has to be not the IDF, but I'm just saying that it could also be a planned thing. Because the end you see laser. Throughout the video with all the horrors of the IDF, I didn't see any IDF soldier doing something bad. And the only time that I did see something that was not okay, which is the laser thing, is I couldn't see the soldier. Which I think is a bit weird, because if you came to do a documentary, but this is the only proof that you have, which is by association in a way, or by accusation, it's not enough to prove it. But it goes to bias eyes. I mean, if you are already in the perception that settlers is bad and yada yada yada, and they are all crazy terrorists, and the IDF are demons, then you will not even doubt it for a second. Even you didn't doubt it for a second. But I do, not because of the IDF, because I just really don't know who did it.
I need to watch this show.
It's online and also on YouTube. On Twitter, some people uploaded it.
How many episodes is it?
No, it's 1 hour.
Oh,
1 hour.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that the choice of what to do the story on, which is those fringe group of the settlers. I mean, the settlers are a few hundred thousands. Those people that live on a hilltop with no electricity and no water, no running water are very few. This is why even what?
That's how they live. They live up on a hilltop without roads.
Yeah, they just put a caravan, even with their children, and this is where they live. And you can also see those days that you don't see a thriving community. You see a few people that decide, okay, this hilltop, we're gonna call it now, I don't know, Mixed Hill, and they put a sign, and they start living there. But you see I don't know, 10 people out of 700,000, and I think that focusing on that part of the group while kind of ignoring completely, zero about the Palestinian aggression or violence during this time, I don't think it's too naive. It's I'm just gonna I just ask the questions, or I'm just gonna. It feels with an intention. You don't do this now without kind of understanding like the context of things and how it will be perceived and how it will be used.
Well, he doesn't have an agenda to make it be perceived any particular kind of way.
Well, he does. Of course he does. If you want to create like the story, you need to give the entire story. For example, why there are checkpoints? You know, in this movie, the Palestinians seem like only we want to like get to our trees and we just want to live our life and the IDF are mean and the settlers are crazy.
Okay, and why do you believe that this British reporter should not tell that story that a Palestinian told him?
You can tell it, but I don't think it gives
the thing is not
the full story.
It's not the point is not that he shouldn't tell that story that was told by a Palestinian. The point is that if he is a really an honest journalist, yes, you receive the part of a story and then you investigate, right? You don't just tell the story somebody told you, because then you might be sinning on the side or on one of the sides, which is okay, you know. But as a journalist, if you want to call yourself a journalist, then you should investigate both sides. If you want to present your documentary as like partial. Impartial.
I would say that journalism is not really designed to be impartial per se. It's more to like act as a loudspeaker for particular very focused stories, sometimes nuanced that like the broader issues are not even addressed. That's like the strength of the journalism.
I'm not sure about that. I mean,
like the muckrackers. Also, what was it? America took over like 3 different islands because of the Maine. That was more like a newspaper thing than anything else.
In our reality, I think when you publish such a movie with a very specific narrative in a time where like in time like this, I don't need to explain like the narrative war that is going on. Either he's completely detached from reality, which makes him not a good journalist to understand what he's doing and even try to kind of even bring like, you know, comments of the IDF, for example, or to bring like balanced view, but it's not balanced. And when you're doing something that you don't try to when you only show like half the picture, I don't see it as responsible journalism. Now, usually, even if I would do now an expose about you that you rate, yada yada yada, at the end of the movie, I will bring, okay, this is what the lawyer of Mixed said. All the allegations, like I will give at least your opportunity to give some kind of balance, even if at the end 90 minutes would be on how bad you are, and then at the end there will be 2 minutes of your reaction. But there was zero chance.
That is what would be journalism for me, you know.
I mean, before that, he's done. Sorry.
No, just one quick question. Who paid for this? Who financed this?
I'd assume the BBC.
But you see, so it's public funds. It should be.
I want to say, like BBC did this movie, and they did this movie like I think a month ago about like this kid in Gaza. And can you tell me when is the movie about the Palestinian terrorism? About the school books, about their like allegiance with Hamas, about using children as where are those like? It's okay to have. I'm not saying they shouldn't tell a story, but if it's Al Jazeera, I know exactly what I'm getting, and I know that I'm not getting the full picture from a place like the BBC or someone that wants to be neutral. I think if the purpose is to educate people or to show them like a true reality, I don't think that this is what was done. And not just based on this movie, but you know, like if you look at everything that the BBC is doing, there's a problem. So maybe he doesn't know that he's biased. I don't know exactly what caused this movie and how it happened, but it seemed very skewed. and also his narrative, his narration added to it. I actually had some comments that I wrote. I can find it if you want. Hold on, I will find it.
I'm not convinced that duffel blog is actually a thing, because I find no other reference to this contract other than that blog.
What are you talking about? What blog?
The Hugo Boss awarded contract for joint service. It's a complete troll.
Just let Sarah go because she's been trying to talk.
Oh no, it was just saying, like, he's done loads of documentaries where he's interviewed pedophiles and they're telling him like what they've done to little kids and shit, like so many horrific things, and he's always been impartial. He's never not once lost his shit on anyone.
Who's this?
Louis Theroux,
the guy that did this documentary.
Yeah.
Which like struck me as weird because I was like, what the fuck, man? I don't have TV. I haven't watched it. I don't pay for the TV license or anything. I think it's shit.
Okay, so I have a few examples for you.
There's been a joint U.S.-Israeli raid on Yemen.
Oh.
I don't think it's joined, but...
Yes, it's joint. A senior Israeli official confirmed to N12 News on Monday night that Israel is conducting joint airstrikes to the United States against Houthi targets in Yemen. According to Arab media sources cited by N12, over 30 Israeli jet fighters are participating in strikes in the port city of Hadouayeda.
Okay, so I want to go back once again. Hodeidah port. The few points is that October 7th is mentioned once, and when it's mentioned, it's framed as a pretext for the settlement's expansion. Then when he interviews Israelis, it's Israelis that are critical of Israel, those are activists that basically say that Israel never wanted peace, which is, he could have added, like he did in other places, that actually Israel made many peace offers to Palestinian leaders that they rejected. It's not mentioned once. He goes to Beta and Eviatar, and he frames the settlers as those violent people, but no mentions of Beta's riots, for example. When they burned Star of David, the Nazi swastika, nothing is mentioned there. Only that they are the poor, innocent Palestinians. And I have a few more examples if you would like. Hold on. It doesn't mention, of course, the reaction of the Israeli society to the settlers' extremists. Well, there's a point where he called her psychopathic, which I think was also very much biased for someone that should just document. And I don't think that what she said was psychopathic at all, to be honest. That's just a few
what other
examples.
documentaries have you seen him doing? I wanted to see.
Documentaries on pedophiles, Nazis. He went undercover and they interviewed them and stuff like that. And what else have I seen?
So he does investigative journalism.
Yeah, he does. He's done some crazy shit, really intense shit. And he's never lost his cool, which is fucking crazy. So either he's passionate about this personally, or he's working for someone or whatever.
How do you spell his last name?
Theorx or something, I think like.
But if you look for the Settlers movie, it will come up very fast.
I've been out of the loop on that. Is briefly, it's whether a smear job.
Daniel, you asked why does the movie not document why is there checkpoints and why it didn't document how Hamas has risen and the indoctrination.
No, that's not what I said.
Oh,
okay. The movie should not talk about everything. I said that the BBC did a movie a month ago about a Palestinian child in Gaza, how to survive a genocide or whatever, and now the settlers So I'm saying that it's okay to, if you want to show like one side, but I think a place like a BBC should be more balanced and not just kind of always portray one side, very one-sided.
Oh, so you're saying like BBC isn't like showing like anything about like Jews or I'm sorry.
Anything bad about Palestinians?
He doesn't seem to have taken like a journalistic stance, and instead he is getting into a narrative that favors just Palestine's side.
Yeah, and there's also a movie that was released by a documentary that was released by the BBC. I think they took it down though, but it was a perspective coming from a Palestinian child. So I think what Daniel's basically saying is that they don't really show how the Hamas is indoctrinating the children. Like, for example, there's this show where they have this kind of like creepy Mickey Mouse fucking dude. Like,
oh yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it.
Pioneers of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's called and
that is
it's basically propaganda. So yeah, it's just all this disgusting propaganda against Israel, and that doesn't really get reported by the BBC. I think Daniel's saying.
But even in this movie, it kind of was. Like, even if you want to talk only about like the settlers and like the relations with the Palestinians, and talk about settlers' violence, and you don't show any of it, and you talk about the IDF, and basically whenever you show the IDF, they are very polite, they are very professional, and you don't mention nothing from like when he was talking about like Beta, and he was like, don't you care about those people? And first of all, Beta, yes, they are like little Nazis there, like with swastika and burning Stars of David and rioting. That is not mentioned. So when you need to have an army to protect like Jews, it's portrayed as a bad thing. I understand it, but the only people that were talking about Israel was either the extremists, like the Daniela Feinstein, or the critics of Israel. There was no one that was kind of trying to give a balanced point of view, or like even to explain, or I don't know, the IDF spokesman to react. Like nothing of this.
Okay. I'm gonna give a different perspective, just from my point of view, right? I think it's okay that the BBC is doing that, because a lot of the networks and the media that we see are pro-Israel, and you don't really see a lot of like advocates or on the other side, right? I don't like the Nazi shit. That's not okay. Nazi lives do not matter. But maybe this is something that Israel or the Jewish diaspora can document. I've never heard of Nazi flags in Israel. That's insane to me.
I think that, well, first of all, I don't think that the narrative has been mainly pro-Israel. I think it has been completely the opposite. Like, you see all the protests that are being talked about around the world, not only in the UK, but everywhere around the world are pro-Palestinian stuff. Whenever there is something about Israel, everybody is against it. They portray it as a genocide, etc., etc. So the narrative that has been prevalent in mainstream has been the pro-Palestinian one. That's number one. But I do agree that if somebody wants to paint the pro-Palestinian side and see why is it that they're victims and why is it that they're suffering, whatever, they should by all means go and do it. Now, the problem I have with the BBC doing it is that it comes from taxpayers' money. And the BBC is a public television, and therefore, if they're going to do any documentary, I think it should be aim as investigation, aim as a journalism, and try to portray both sides in trying to seek the truth to present to the people. So, because otherwise it's just propaganda if it's coming from the government, and that shouldn't be the case.
Go ahead. Someone spoke?
Yeah, Sarah. I don't know what you said.
So, Sarah, you want to speak? Okay, so I'm putting in the chat if anyone wants to read from Honest Reporting about like the problems with this movie. You can agree or disagree. For example, one of the things that they're saying, like he did already, like it's also mentioned in the movie that he already did a movie about the same people, like I don't know, like 14 years ago, and now he kind of revisited it. He also said, okay, it's the same people that I visited in 2011, yada yada. In the previous movie that he did, he mentioned, for example, that the settlers are a very like small minority group, like that are like the how do you call it, they're just like a very small portion of the Israeli society, which he didn't say at all in this. Back then, he did mention, for example, in the previous movie that the land was purchased by a Jewish home, and he acknowledged that there are a lot of like regular and deadly terror attacks from Palestinians. He mentioned this, so he does know it, and it was something that he thought in the past that is professionally important to say. This time, all those things were missing from the documentary. Like to balance it, to kind of give context to, and again, those are things that he obviously knows because he already mentioned them in his previous movie about the same topic. So if you want to read it, they go into depth about the different things that are going there, and you can read. I think it's interesting. And also, if you want the entire case against the BBC, then there's a whole report about the BBC and the problems that they have with their reporting.
Shit's gonna hit the fan in the UK though, because we've got inquiries coming up about Muslim grooming gangs, Pakistanis stuff. And
But are they really talking about it, or are they pushing it under the rug like they have been doing?
No, I think there's fights in Parliament, and our recent elections, it all went to reform. Like Labour lost all of their seats, and I think it's gonna be the reason why we'll have a general election and our government might swing. But yeah, shit's gonna hit the fan. There was a documentary about the grooming gangs that went on Channel 4, and it was quite hectic. Like, it showed a lot of like dark shit. I don't have TV, so I hear secondhand things. Anyway, that was the night before the election. So the propaganda swung both ways.
Well, hopefully. Because I think that the UK is really, it's a fallen state. It's a failed state at this point.
And BlackRock is just buying it all, you know.
The what?
BlackRock. They're just buying the whole of the UK.
Yeah, not surprised.
But I think Ireland will go to shits before the UK.
Yeah, the Irish are fighting back though. We had the other day there was like this property development, loads of new houses were built, and then it was said that it was to house migrants, and somebody came with a bulldozer and fucked up all of the houses.
Based.
Yeah. So it's getting a bit heated.
Yeah, I don't know where all this thing is gonna go here in Europe, but definitely a change has to take place at some point because it's not sustainable.
I think that's racist.
I don't give a shit. It's horrible.
I think we should present a more balanced view.
I am balanced.
I'm glad you got your
medication conversation. That was funny.
Medication conversation.
Oh yeah, you were not here. That's when Randy was going at Princessia because apparently Diego told her not to take her medication. She was saying that was false. And yeah, then Randy said that he shouldn't be giving her that advice because she's mentally ill. And she's like, don't call me mentally ill. I'm not mentally ill. It's like, yeah, but you say you don't remember what happened that day. Yeah, I don't remember. Then yeah, you're mentally ill. I don't know. They made her cry. He made her cry. And yeah, and so that was about the medication thing.
Someone that is crying doesn't mean that they are wrong. Correct.
Were you singing?
No, but it sounds
Because
like...
your voice sounds like an angel.
Thank you.
This crying doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It was a bit funny, I have to say.
Oh, mental illness is funny now.
No, I didn't mean her mental illness was funny. It's just the situation. The room was funny.
Okay, so we find people crying funny. Okay.
Yes, Lou, it is amazingly funny. And then Princess asked me how much I liked her from 1 to 10. And I said, sometimes I like you less than other times.
Well, that's a nothing burger.
And I said, sometimes I like you 8, and sometimes I like you 2.
Then, when you started to say that the settlers were a minority of Israelis, did you disagree with that?
No, I'm saying he didn't say that those, and it's not the settlers, it's those settlers that are, doing like those outposts. In his previous movie from 2011, he said that this is like a very small fragment of the Israeli society, and that they are condemned, yada, 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 whatever. And he didn't say any of it.
Okay, now I understand what you're saying.
You're pissing Daniel off.
What?
You're pissing him off.
I was asking for clarification.
Clarification at the end.
I'm joking.
Sense today. What were your tamales? Your jokes aren't funny. Respectfully. Oh! I didn't say that.
What are you saying about tamales?
I said, what is in your tamales? You had 2 jokes at my expense today. Earlier today, there was you said something, and then Meyer had to tell me it was a joke.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, me neither. Wasn't memorable.
Everything I say is memorable.
Well, you can't even remember that. Well, that must be mental illness.
My narcissism, you mean?
Hostile occupation.
Honey, do you have allergies?
No, I'm tired. Anywho, let's see what's up in the news.
Baby boo.
I miss Princessia now.
You'll get over it.
Oh shit, no. Mierda. I fucked up. Well, anyway.
Speed lag.
Who are you, Louis Stickles?
Lou?
Allegedly.
Logisticals.
Allegedly. Okay.
Logisticals. He is good at coming up with words that start with his name, Lou. Logistics.
Read this article in the chat, Jamie. Tell me what you think.
That's ludicrous. Okay, let me check.
Ludicrous.
Luchas?
Ludicrous. Have you ever been ludicrous? Lou?
I've listened to him. It makes great movies, Ludicrous.
Lou, have you ever been ludicrous? Is he there in the room still? Oh yeah, he's in the room. Why are you ignoring me? You.
Oh, sorry. Because you're a woman. What'd you ask me?
Yeah, that makes sense. I was asking you if you have ever been ludicrous.
How's it going? I don't know what you're asking me.
Have you ever been ludicrous, like your name?
L-O-U-D-R-I-X.
Yeah, ludicrous.
Is that resistance in the audience?
Yeah. He's not allowed in any room now, so he's...
Oh, new PTR. Let's check this one out.
Who, Resistance? Oh, do you want to bring him up?
Oh, you get a picture of him.
Resistance? The same guy?
Yeah, he's resisting. Okay, finally.
Which one? I thought it was Resistance.
No. Maybe it's someone else, but this one is resisting humanity.
It is resistance.
Without your master.
It's the same that got fucked in Seattle.
So he updated his name. Now he's honest about resisting humanity.
Cute little cat.
He got fucking ass in Rikers. Yeah, that's right.
Europeans be crawled into the Middle East. What? Wait, what'd you say?
What did you say, Julian?
I said we're gonna resist all of you dirty Europeans that crawled into the Middle East begging from the Nazis. Yeah, he got fucked in the ass in Rikers, Issa. You're right. Julian, your father raped you.
Issa, did you bring him out?
Oh wow, that's disgusting.
Well, we will talk about it later.
Like the husband.
I'm having Auschwitz stew tonight, everybody.
You know, even Amir said he will not bring him on stage anymore.
Oh, really?
You know why he don't like me? Because I don't listen to his bullshit.
That is bringing the bullshit to another level.
Exactly. Everyone is allowed to speak like the whatever, like anyone.
You think that I'm gonna like that? Amir, how could you do this, Amir?
How could you
like listening to you homosexuals for some reason? I don't know.
But how could you get Amir to like not to like? How did you? Yes, I don't get it.
Because I told him I don't want to hear you homosexuals talking too much.
But he's also.
I know of. Like, why do you assume the rest of us are homosexuals?
Hold on. So you came here to speak to us?
Daniel is a homosexual.
Yeah, so exactly. You came exactly.
Flying homosexuals. You don't even understand what you're saying.
And Daniel is subhuman.
Oh, but then why are you talking to subhuman people? You came here.
I don't. We would destroy them. We're gonna destroy them.
Who is we?
Islam, of course.
Now you understand.
Islam. The dude is Muslim since his like I don't know, his latest prison time, and now he thinks that he owns Islam, that he's fucking Muhammad.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yes, we're gonna destroy you, filthy little Zionist, atheist animals. You are representing too many babies.
You are representing Islam, do you think? Do you think that you're representing Islam?
Of course, killing you animals, yes.
And that is exactly what is the problem with your people.
No, our people have a sound mind. We destroy, we kill anyone who wants to kill innocent women and children.
Who is his people? He doesn't even have any people. Nobody claims him.
No. Even his people are like disowning him.
You're European. You Europeans are animals.
Hey, someone last night said you're Puerto Rican. Are you Puerto Rican or Dominican?
Whatever they want me to be.
That explains why he sounds like Lil
He's Dominican.
You're Dominican?
I'm Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Ashkenazi, I'm Mahrasi, I'm all of them.
And nobody claims him. That's sad.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great thing not to be claimed. Oh yeah.
Or else having a good old time.
The Nazis claimed the Zionists, though. The Nazis claimed you guys.
Why don't you don't you want to live?
Claimed the Jews.
Don't you want to live like under like a Muslim rule, under Sharia law? Like, why don't you go to like a place that is more aligned with your values?
We are. I'm going to Palestine.
Northern Syria.
Yeah,
I'm moving to Palestine.
How are you getting there?
Like, where are you going? It's not on the map.
Capital is Jerusalem, baby.
They won't let you
Where's Palestine?
Actually, you know what?
You know what? Let's meet there. Let's meet there.
Is occupied by the filthy Europeans right now.
I would contribute to paying your flight to Israel. I would love to see.
How are you gonna pay your flight?
I would love to see what happens to you as soon as you put one foot on
He
that.
said, who are you gonna blow to get the money? Because you don't work.
Oh, how do you know he does?
That I
Who
don't
are you gonna blow to get the money?
Good.
Much more than you do.
Who are you gonna blow to get the money? He said,
As usual, the watermelon is projecting his failures onto others.
what
What is your job? Resistance. What's your job? Do you work?
I'm in my office right now.
What is the office doing?
My office, I'm relaxing right now.
At my mom.
What line of work do you do?
At my mom.
Relaxing.
But we know you're gay. You know you don't work. You just sleeping with some white man.
You know, there's a lot of money in OnlyFans for gay people.
Because Danielle is on here 24/7, just like Juliana. So I know you
What's
guys
your job?
with some
What's your
old
job?
white men that got their retirement.
Did you also call it a job?
Daniela, how old is your boyfriend? 65, 70?
I don't have a boyfriend.
Daniela got a sugar daddy.
Yeah, he doesn't have a boyfriend.
I'm happily married, dude.
You married to
And if you
Get married.
and if you will see my husband,
Daniela, what's your
if
husband's
you will
name?
see my husband, even you will get a hard on. You will get a hard on.
Is your husband, is he a Jew too?
I'll say my wife. Oh, she's right there.
Daniela, is your husband a Jew too?
He's double Jew.
Yes, he
Do you have?
There's my wife. Daniel, put up your husband. Let's see it.
Oh my God, you got
Yeah.
two dirty Jews fucking each other in their ass is crazy.
But no one loves you, resistance, and no one loves you. You don't have like
Girlfriend.
Well,
no one.
at least they do it consensually, not like you in jail.
You mean like the pedophiles in the harbors?
Not like it happened to you in
You
jail.
mean like the American pedophiles that go to Israel because they harbor them? We got some good
No, they go to.
headlines.
It's like they go to a Sharia law country like Iraq, where you can marry like a 9-year-old. Go to Iraq with all your Muslim brothers and
Or
marry
you
a
can do like
9-year-old.
the Talmud says you can marry a 3-year-old.
Dude,
The rabbi said you can marry 3-year-olds.
Resistance. What is the resistance? What is the age of marriage?
Isaac marry Rebecca?
What is the marriage?
3 years old.
What is the
Muhammad was
Okay, shut up. So, what was the
Rabbi
age of
said Isaac married Rebecca when she was 3.
What is the marriage?
14.
What is the marriage age?
16 to 20.
Oh my God! What is? Hold on,
in
Yaakov.
charge of the camels and all of the vegetables.
Don't answer him, Yaakov. Don't answer him. My God.
He needs to understand facts from the.
No, he doesn't need to understand facts, Yaakov, because he doesn't care for facts.
The rabbi
It's
said
resistance,
Rebecca
dude.
was 3 years
Save
old.
your effort to someone who matters. Resistance is
Rabbi
like,
said that
dude.
it was 3-year-old Rebecca.
That's when
Resistance.
promise.
Resistance in 2025.
No.
Hold
That's
on,
when
Yaakov,
ate-
one
that's when
second.
ate her.
Resistance, my God. In 2025, today, what is the age that you can marry a woman in Iraq, for example?
I don't know what the legal ages in Iraq is.
According to it's a Sharia law country, so you should know.
I can tell you what it is in Germany. In Germany,
Oh my
it's
God.
13 years old, I believe.
You believe. And I'm asking you about the Sharia countries.
Yeah, and
Under
I'm
the
telling you,
Sharia
in
law.
your country, in your German
And I'm asking
country,
you,
in
under
German
Sharia law.
country,
Under Sharia law.
consensual sex is
Under
at 13
Sharia
years
law.
old in Germany.
Under Sharia law. Under Sharia law.
Under
what is the
German
age that
law,
you- Oh
Daniel
my God. Oops, I dropped something.
Muhammad is a pedophile. Muhammad is a child molester.
I don't really like I say shit. Like resist, like you brought him up. It's fine. Like it was a bit entertaining, but like
yeah, enough.
We had enough, right?
20
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Muhammad is a pedophile.
PDF file?
Muhammad is a
It's a text document.
It's a text document.
Shit. It's a piece of shit done on.
A piece of shit. What?
No, it's pedophile, piece of shit, child molester. At least that's the way Shuki sings it.
Oh, okay.
It's a child molester.
Everything that they blame us.
Can you imagine being in jail and not being able to say no to other men doing?
I don't think you have
doing boom boom to your bum.
Yeah, they're like 3 times you. You're being held down by 2 other guys. Like, I don't think you have a chance
to. Do you think you have to take a shower? Do you think
you have like the whole graphics?
Drop the soap.
My God.
It's called a welcome party.
Come on, they use liquid soap by now.
Oh, lube?
Oh my God, said Lou. Oh my God.
My God.
Yeah. You're all such Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
Yeah, Jacob, this is too much for you.
Oh my God, read the comment. Imagine being an unattractive white Jewish woman that sleeps with her father. Who is he talking about?
Maybe he's talking about
I suggest there's a reason why we don't need to engage with him. Like he can talk in the chat and kind of vent out all his nonsense.
Wait,
I might be the Jewish woman he's talking about.
Wait, who is that person?
Me.
Your friend Resistance.
No, but who is he?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
You were converted in the past?
Don't tell him.
No, she just has to make
He
it about
calls me
her.
a Jewish woman. Let him think I'm Jewish.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
I thought you were South American, right?
Yeah,
One of those shithole places.
Guatemala.
That's in Central America.
I'm a beaner.
Jeff calls them mountain Mexicans.
I'm a bitter baby.
I'm a mountain Mexican. That's right.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
No, actually, that is an American thing. It's not celebrated in Mexico or in any other part of Latin America.
I've never heard this mountain Mexican thing.
Yeah, the Cinco de Mayo was made by the Mexicans living in the U.S. and it was because of a battle or something that complicated the United States. Yeah, but it's not. Don't celebrate it. That's why.
That's what you get.
Are you okay?
That's what you get.
Yeah, what was that? The women and the children. What happened?
It was a law.
I dropped a porcelain plate and it didn't break.
Okay, but now try to spin it to blame Israel or the Jews for it.
Yeah, you guys are talking to me. It was your fault.
That was some amazing Jew luck there that it didn't break.
Oh, you're calling the Jews lucky. That sounds a little inappropriate.
Yeah, we are known for our good.
No, that's the Irish. Don't they have that leprechaun guy? We don't have a leprechaun guy. We just get interest.
But you guys
We don't deal with
their
luck.
president. No,
we have precision. We have calculations. Luck is variable. Hopefully we'll make some money this year.
I was saying it really loud.
We cannot hear you.
Can't hear you.
They're not missing much.
Was that Lou? Was it you, Lucas?
Yeah. Respectfully.
Is your name Lugis or is it Lucius?
Logistics.
Oh, I've been saying Lucas I'm so sorry. I thought that's what you wanted people to say. I don't know why.
It's spelled so it's confusing and people.
I didn't actually expand it to see in your profile. Logisticals. It's like testicles? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
No, it's a play of words of all the words together. It's Lou, it's Jizz, it's Tickles, it's logisticals.
But it's logistics, not logisticals.
Is everything okay? So do you need some humanitarian aid?
What'd you call it?
Humanitarian aid.
That's a good one, actually.
No, I don't need a humanitarian. I don't need a humanitarian.
That's so funny.
That's a pretty good one, actually.
I like that. That's pretty good. You should copyright that.
You want me to put it in the title of the room? So
Definitely.
Put humanitarian.
With an E, right?
I'm going to use that one in other places. I'm going to call it humanitarian. Humanitarian.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I am so thankful that my plate didn't break. I'm impressed, actually. It fell completely.
I bet if it was someone else's plate, it would have broke.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear it. My hearing sucks.
I thought I heard it shatter.
Yeah, because it didn't have a little spoon in it. And so it sounded like... Where's Jeff, by the way? I haven't seen him.
I think yes. No, he doesn't have a room. So what happened to Soren? Speaking of what happened to.
Yeah, that's true. Where is Soren?
I hope everything is okay.
You're so...
What? I hope nothing happened to him. What?
My God.
Yeah, I hope everything's okay with Soren.
Yeah,
Is he okay? Like, he has been on the app in like a month and a half. Like, do you think he's in jail in Indonesia for being gay?
Nobody knows and nobody cares.
What did you do to him?
I think he got recalled by the IRGC. He's in Tehran.
Did you send him someone or something, Daniel?
I cannot deny it, but maybe someone that...
He was outed in a country that does not like gay people.
You cannot deny nor confirm?
Yeah, no.
Well, he kept on saying on multiple occasions that he lived in Bali.
I don't believe a word that he said about himself.
I think he was in Europe.
You think so? Yeah, Soren is such a Norwegian, Nordic-sounding name.
Well, the name is...
The name is Nordic.
Yeah, the name just mixed up.
His name was Puria.
Puria.
See, I thought that was Norm just joking with him. I didn't realize it was really his name.
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
I've never heard that Persian first name Puria.
Pour yourself a drink.
That's a good one. Cool, I'm not just Puria.
Thank you, asshole.
You said thank you, asshole?
Oh, it's Yaakov. I thought because I was going to Lucas, you said thank you, Jackoff. Like Diego does that from time to time. Like, I want to reach out through the phone and slap his ass.
Yaakov.
So, jack off. Oh, you have to be more of a J, more of a J. See, you're culturally, culturally inhibited from saying that because your tongue, you just don't have that just sound in Spanish.
Yes,
it becomes a Y. No, it becomes more like a Y.
No, yes.
La Jolla instead of.
No, no.
Yes.
But we do have the J sound. It's a double L.
The J sound.
Yeah.
I just, all the Spanish people I've met, they really don't do the J as
Oh my God,
hard as we
Jacob,
do.
are you going to try to teach me Spanish?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying my experience of speaking with Spanish people. I just don't
Well,
think
your
the J's are.
experience is nothing.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
We do have the J sound, and it's a double L.
What is that?
Like
Llamar.
Like Jew.
Oh my God.
Like Jew. Also, when the Y goes in the front, we also pronounce it like Jewa.
Oh my God.
Jewa.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, yeah.
No, Jeffrey is with J, and it's English.
Okay, so do you close your eyes just before the J sound?
Oh, wow.
Wow, that was good. That was a good one. That was really good.
She didn't deny it. Thank you.
Ooh, you're into baseball, right? What?
That's right.
That's right. You're into baseball? Yeah.
No, well, like, I played in college, but I don't really follow it anymore. Why?
Yeah, he got too old.
The knees gave
Do
up.
you have any advice for me, Issa? Like, how did you deal with that?
With becoming old?
How's it going? Good.
Lou, what do you do for business?
You don't have to answer that, Lou.
Questions at the end.
What?
Questions at the end.
Okay. I found that most people, if you take an honest interest in what they do, will answer you.
Sometimes.
My background
not
is
everyone.
like B2B sales, but right now I'm kind of trying to figure out what direction I want to go in.
Is Daniel still there?
No, he left.
Oh.
Should we keep this moving?
love races.
That's fine.
Somebody reported me in the Bitcoin room today.
Oh, they must just like you.
Well, it was someone I don't know, and I haven't even spent time today there. I think it must have been because I opened the room, and so maybe somebody reported the room.
Wait, bothered you, you said?
Reported me.
Oh, reported? Like, how do you know that you got reported? Like, what does that
Because
mean?
one of the admins of the club sent a screenshot that I was reported, but I think it must have been because I opened the room.
If you're allowed to open a room, like, you should be allowed to open a room. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but somebody must have reported the room, so the report was at 9.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You know, I would have reported you. You guys actually talk about Bitcoin in those rooms, or just hang out? Oh, he left too. How you feeling, Yako? Doing okay. Shoulder hurts. There. Good? No. You're like 27? What? Yeah. Seem young. Just trying to figure out how young. I don't know, 34. 34? Okay, 27's close. Huh? 27 isn't too far off. That's it. You'll take it, right? Yeah. Oh. Where do you live? Part of the country? Yeah, I live in New York. Oh, Arizona. That's nice. I'd love to live there. Pretty hot, though. I think it's a little warm. But it's a dry heat, as they say. No, that's real. It really is. I don't know. I remember the first time I walked out here is a lot less. It's more bearable than like 90. Oh no, it's much better. I'd rather have your 115 than our 90, or even our 85. Yeah. I grew up in Rhode Island, and right after the first. Yeah, after my first year. Cumberland. Oh, Cumberland. Okay. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Worcester, which is up Route 146 in Patch. Yeah, 146. Yeah. I think that's the road, right? Goes down there. Mhm. Yeah, 146. Yeah. Boy, that just came right back into my head. I was like, surprised that my memory worked that well. I honestly, I wouldn't have if you asked me which highway connected the number. I would have remembered 146, but now I remember. Yeah. Double checking. Where is that town? What'd you say? What town? Cumberland. Cumberland. I think the top right corner. Oh yeah, here we go. Yep. Yeah, southeast of Woonsocket. Yeah. Do you know what the original name of your state was? The state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations? Yeah, it was just Rhode Island and Providence Plantation. Although they officially changed it just a couple years ago, like 2-3 years ago. Yeah, during the whole Black Lives Matter stuff. Yeah. Well, they missed that Black Lives Matter by a few years, but.
Really? Yeah, that was like during 2020.
I don't know. Yeah, but wasn't the Black Lives Matter like whenever that guy was killed, like 2014 or 15? Let me see when they changed it.
Yeah, but I think they changed the name in response to like the whole like George.
Yeah, but wasn't that like
the whole 20? I think the George Floyd stuff was in like 2020.
Oh, what?
2014.
I thought the George Floyd stuff was like 10 years ago.
No, you're thinking of like what was it, Trayvon Martin or something? One of the other. Yeah, or Michael Taylor.
Black Lives Matter was only 4 years ago. Oh, so did they change it as 2020?
The original like founding.
Oh, actually, you were correct. I was wrong. It's the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. Now it's the state of Rhode Island.
I didn't know that until like they never taught us that.
Of course not. Who's gonna like say, hey, we're known by a plantation?
Well, no, yeah, but I don't know why. I don't know what took them so long to change it, or I don't know. That might be like actually like a kind of a pain in the ass, like to change. Like I don't know.
Yeah. So let's see. When did Yeah, I was right. Black Lives Matter movement began in 2013 after the acquittal of George Zimmerman in the fatal shooting of Trayvon Martin. So it was like 7 years after Black Lives Matter that Rhode Island changed its name. It wasn't like in response to it.
Well, no, it was in response to the whole like the George Floyd, the guy that overdosed in Minnesota. That's that whole summer, the summer of love, all that. Like that's what I think. That's definitely the reason why they changed it.
Yeah, I mean they're just. I guess things work slowly in Rhode Island.
No, I don't think they had any intentions of changing it. It's that whole. If what happened in 2020 never happened, I don't think they would have changed the name.
No, it just been. They just would have waited for someone to say, it sounds really strange.
I wonder how many plantations, like, how many slaves were there in Rhode Island?
I don't know. I'm on ChatGPT. We'll find out.
Because like plantation doesn't inherently mean.
Yeah, I know. It just means it's a place where you grow stuff. It doesn't say the type of labor force. But it does have this really bad connotation.
Yeah. Have you ever been down to Newport?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
there's some serious money there.
Oh yeah.
I like Block Island. I'm a big fan of Block Island.
Yeah, Block Island's nice. I've been a couple times.
That's part of Rhode Island, right?
Yeah. Sail away on the Block Island ferry.
Yeah, I actually did a report for my graduate school, and I remember learning that north part of Rhode Island was founded by Roger Williams, the south part by Anne Hutchinson of the Hutchinson River Parkway, and here we have in New York. She went up there. So it says in 1636, Roger Williams, Puritan theologian, exiled from Massachusetts Bay Colony for his religious beliefs, founded the settlement of Providence. He named it Providence Plantations to express gratitude for what he considered divine guidance. At the time, the term plantation referred to a colony or settlement, not large-scale agricultural estates associated with slavery.
Yeah. Yeah, they have the Roger Roger Williams Park Zoo.
Yeah, and he was really into separation of church and state. Actually, I think I have my Roger Williams video on YouTube. Let's see my videos. Oh, here we go. Okay, here's some corny ass shit. I paste something into the chat and it doesn't allow me to hit the enter.
Oh, sometimes that happens.
Have you noticed the same thing?
Yeah, I have. I don't know if it's a glitch but yeah, it's happened to me.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Sure got a turntable last week. Really enjoying it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I have a lot of old records. When I grew up, that's all we had were records. It sounds really good. I forgot how good they sound. Very warm sound.
You're an INFJ?
What?
So you're an INFJ?
Yeah, according to that test I took. Why?
That's interesting. I wouldn't have, I guess I don't know you that well, but...
Yeah, why? What would you think I am?
I wouldn't have guessed the F. I would have...
The F?
Yeah.
What does the F mean?
Feeling.
Yeah.
I believe. INTP.
What are you?
NTP.
What is that?
It's the logician sort of archetype. Yeah. Or it's a small number of the population. I think like 3% or so. We're usually awkward. I'm an INTP. Like, dude, when I first learned about that stuff, it was very interesting because I don't know, I've never understood people. I always had a hard time sort of like, I'm sick communicating, but I shouldn't understand how people would act or process things.
Can't hear you, John.
Yeah.
We're losing you.
It's interesting that...
Oh, lost you. Bridges.
Hello.
Hello? Do you really have all those tattoos?
Well, I have 2 full sleeves. Yeah, that image is not. That's not what the tattoos look like.
But it's sort of like the area covered is the same.
Yeah.
How much would that cost, approximately?
My right arm was
finance that shit?
No.
You gotta pay cash.
No. You can pay cash.
Oh.
But it's like, I mean, like mine, because mine's kind of like, it's a lot of ink. It's over the course of like, 3 or 4 sessions.
Over how much time? 3 or 4 sessions over how many days or weeks?
You need ideally at least 2 weeks in between to let it heal. But I mean, it's like mine. This was over the course of, I don't know, probably like 4 months, 5 months. But yeah, like I mean, I don't know. I suppose I guess you could probably would only need like a week or so of healing, but it's just not. That's not really how it works. It depends on the artist too, the tattoo guy, like whatever their availability is. But mine, yeah, my right arm was probably 6 months or so. I have to think about it. I did it as fast as possible, but then my left arm is technically, it's still not finished. I need to go back, but that one was a lot cheaper. That was only probably like, I don't know, maybe $1,500.
Did it really hurt?
No, it's not as bad as they make it out at all. But I suppose it's a pain tolerance thing. There's certain areas that have, little more nerve ending. They're less pleasant than other areas.
Mm-hmm.
But surprisingly, the elbow, like actually, like I was looking at your. Yeah, that's what you would think, but like I mean, in a weird way, it like actually like felt good. I have a lot of like floating. My right elbow from baseball, like I got bone chips and whatnot, and there was something about like the vibration and the deal where it actually kind of like almost felt like it massaged it, but
wow.
Yeah, but on on my inner forearm, like that right around the elbow area, is that like I'm talking out loud to myself. What's up?
Keegan's holding forth in another room.
You holding what?
Keegan is holding forth in another room.
Oh.
It really rankles me sometimes.
Well,
He's like a serious version of Diego. Diego jokes around, but Keegan lives it.
well Diego is a very intelligent guy.
I didn't say he wasn't.
No, I know. But he, a lot of people, I don't think they take him the right way. He likes to sort of play with concepts or ideas that he doesn't necessarily believe in or agree with.
And then there's also times that he does believe with that he masks his belief by joking about them, so you think he doesn't actually believe in them, when in fact he does, and that's just the theory I have.
But yeah, Keegan, I don't know Keegan very well, to be honest. I don't. Yeah. You don't really hear him talk about really anything other than like Jews and Christianity. That's basically it.
Yeah, he doesn't have a wide repertoire.
Either one of those topics. Yeah. Google DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis warns that AGI could arrive within the next 5 to 10 years, yet society remains unprepared.
What can arrive in the next 5 to 10 years?
AGI, artificial general intelligence.
Couldn't hear you.
Yeah, it basically it depends on what the sort of, I guess, agreed upon general definition is AI that can do most tasks.
Can it create new concepts? I think the word intelligence is being thrown around far too much. It's a bunch of heuristic programs that the computer follows. It's coding. It's not like creating a new type of rocket or synthesizing new concepts.
Well, I don't know, that seems a bit more, I don't know if nuances. I mean, OpenAI has claims that their O3 model and their O4, is it O4? There's 4.0, then there's O1, which is their advanced reasoning, and then there's the O3, which is more efficient, more advanced reasoning, and then now there's the O4. Their naming of their models is horrible, but so their O4 model, I think they put a paper out, but they basically said that it is capable of generating new concepts.
So then they'll start attributing patents to this thing?
Don't know. I know that's a good question as to who would technically.
No. What I'm forget who owns it. That this thing will create things that are patentable.
That's their claim, yeah, 100%, yeah.
I don't buy it for a second.
Why? not possible inherently, or do you just think it?
In the constraints, I hate to use a buzzword, but you have to think differently. When you're generating something new, you won't generate something new if you're bound by the constraints of what has been. I don't want to sound like the former vice president. I'm burdened by the past, or whatever her phrase was. Like, how do you create something new when you're writing code which inherently constrains something? It's only as good as what you've told it can do. I've been involved with computers since 1978. So, and maybe I'm too old with computers, but the reality is they're still they're algorithms. They're not. We haven't figured out how the human mind is able to, all of a sudden invent an airplane. To think of not a physical airplane, but to design in one's mind a lighter than air vehicle and write out on paper something that is the description that can then be determined if it's feasible or not, right? Yeah. So the Wright brothers had these drawings of a plane. They said, okay, it's going to have this curved airfoil, it's going to have a flat airfoil, and the pressure differential between the high pressure on the top and the low pressure on the bottom, because air goes over this curve faster, the Bernoulli effect. They're figuring all this shit out, and this thing weighs more than the air, but it's gonna float. How the fuck? Tell me, how do you do that shit?
Well, yeah, that's
or Robert Goddard in the rocket. I'm gonna stick some fuel in this tube, and Newton's first law, or I think it's first law, it's the third law. I'm gonna light it off, and flame's gonna come out the back, so it's gonna propel it upwards, and then we're gonna figure out how to guide it by making the fins movable. That's invention upon invention upon invention. I don't understand. Maybe it's beyond my comprehension how we can program something we ourselves cannot even conceive of.
Well, but that's kind of an interesting idea, though, right? Because couldn't you say, couldn't you? I mean, obviously we're able to do it with our minds, so it is. This might be a weird framing, but we are bound by some sort of constraints that we don't even quite understand as far as how our minds work. So simply saying that something is bound by code, how do you have an emergent effect or a capability? How do you create something that's able to create new ideas when we don't really understand how we create new ideas?
And more importantly, it has to work autonomously.
Okay, so define autonomously, because there's a very interesting issue that they have with these large language models called the interpretability issue. I don't know if you're familiar with that, where they don't understand how these models are working. They understand how to put the inputs, the training data, but they don't quite understand where it's pulling.
I can't hear you.
It doesn't. It's not.
Start again. They don't understand what.
They don't understand exactly how these models are. So, for example, you can look at the training data set and you can say, okay, well, if there's an exact, if the problem and the solution to a question actually exists in the data set, then you could say, okay, well, it's in the data set, so therefore it's not actually reasoning its way to find the answer. But they don't quite understand exactly how it is able, like where it's pulling the information from when it is reasoning. It's called the interpretability of the problem. They really don't understand why there was a certain level of capabilities and expectations that they would that they could sort of scale up and predict it would be able to do X, Y, and Z. But then there was some sort of wall that they burst through where these models start having all these emergent capabilities that they really can't explain why it's able to do. Like they don't understand it, which is I'm doing a poor job explaining it because I don't quite understand how they don't understand it.
That's fine. They don't even understand themselves. So what I meant by autonomous was to leave it by itself, and it autonomously says, here's a solution to a problem that we have, and you haven't told me, figure out how to reduce pollution. Because when you say figure out how to reduce pollution, it may then, let's say somehow in ways that I don't know, it looks at all the research and says, okay, people have tried X, Y, and Z, but they haven't tried Z prime because they missed it, and there's a relationship between A and C that gets you to Z prime. Like somehow it figures out something that we haven't done. Because like if there's 10 different answers and humankind has produced 9, maybe it could figure out that there's a missing one and go off and figure out what that missing one. But you've told it solve this problem. What I'm talking about autonomy is you're leaving it idle. And it's just thinking, and it's doing its thing, and it says, you know what? I can create teleportation. Just make up a really strange sounding technology, right?
Yeah.
And here's how it works. Here's how it's going to work. And you didn't ask me to do it, but I've been sitting thinking about, like, how can we move from point A to point B in a nanosecond, and it's at 15,000 miles an hour away, right? That's what I mean by autonomy. That's what I mean by autonomy. It's working on its own. You haven't told it what to do, and it figures out a solution to a problem that, it can think about on its own.
Okay, so give me
catch me up on this. What are you guys talking about?
Talking about the I in AI.
So what would be give an example or something that you would say would be a indication of autonomy that doesn't have to go to the lengths, because, and the reason I'm asking it this way is because there's a new research paper that came out that when they talk about autonomy, they're not quite using the definition that you're using, but in the definition that you just used, there's a paper that just came out that basically shows that the models are actually, I can pull it up for you if you'd like. The models are, quote unquote, thinking even when they're not on
tasked. When they're not tasked.
Yeah, which is like a new thing. This was not. No. Like, let me see if I can find the paper. I don't want to fuck this up. Hold on.
Hey, how you doing? We kept your room alive.
That's right. No, I think he's on the phone.
Oh, I can't see. I'm not looking at the phone.
Because it is an interesting thing. It's like, okay, if it's not being tasked with anything, at what point is it actually displaying some level of autonomy? These things are. The more I've looked into this stuff, and I'm obsessed with it. Like I probably sell myself short with regards to like how much I do know about, but I don't understand under the hood. I'm not at that level.
I'm just a user. I say more than I probably should, only because I'm not constrained by. I don't know all that's going on. Clearly, I mean, there's capabilities are far in excess of what I could comprehend, or at least what I've been exposed to. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Well, that's the case for most people, and I get very much into the weeds with this stuff, and like there's probably to the point where it's almost, you could say, like a waste of my time, because I could be using this stuff in a more productive way, maybe something that benefits my life. But I can't help it. I just like get autistic, and I'm just, I don't know. Like I find it so fascinating. So I'm very much in like trying to like understand what the fuck these things are actually doing and what they're capable of, more from like a philosophical perspective. But I'm not really as fascinated by like what I can automate with it as I am as to like what is this new thing. Because I think we're gonna have a very hard time. Most people don't really acknowledge that we really know very little about the human mind and how our brains work.
Yeah, I would agree with that completely.
It seems with the little understanding that we have, that these models actually aren't all that different than what we do know about. Like you can say, okay, this thing is predicting the next token. Which is, that is true. They're predicting the next token. And there's really, if you can make an argument as to how we're all that different, that'd be interesting. But we kind of operate similarly. Like our minds are, you could say, predicting the next word in our thought process. It's very fuzzy. There's not like a clear distinction that like, oh, we operate so much differently than these models. We like it feels like we do for sure. Like we have the sense of self and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like what actually is pushing our thoughts? Like we think we control them, and to some extent we do, but you'd say. Here, I found the
Honestly, I don't know how you program Quest into a computer. We have a burning quest to push the envelope if a car goes 200 miles on a tank of gas, somebody wants to figure out how to make it go 350, 400, 500. Like, I don't know how you program desire or quest for knowledge or the things that underpin why we do the things that we do. You're just talking about how we do the things we do. But what pushes us, what propels us, is emotional. How the hell do you code that? How do you get a computer excited to continue day after day after day slogging through a problem?
Synthetic dopamine?
Yeah, essentially. Thomas Edison, man, the shit that came out of Menlo Park. Yeah, and he fell flat on his head like day after day after day until he got it right.
Here, I'm going to put a link.
Bro, why are you looking like that? What's the side eye for?
I'll find the paper and I can send it to you on Telegram. This is a video talking about they're referring to it as sleep time compute, but it's essentially, I think this fits the definition that you gave for it as far as what would like constitute autonomy from.
Yeah, I agree. This is that.
I'll put the link at the top to the video.
Yeah, sure, thanks.
Yeah. Diego!
Diego, Princessia.
Yeah, what's going on?
How you doing?
We're doing good. I think, I guess
Jakob, you're not convinced. Lou thinks that we're going to the next level, right?
I think Lou's like fully ingested everything that the AI industry wants us to believe, and is just. I wouldn't say I'm sure.
I get what you're saying.
I think he's not as skeptical as I am. I think that they do major important things, but I think the word intelligence is being thrown around too much. Artificial intelligence. No, it's artificial. It's computer programming. They only do what they're programmed to do.
I think that I have in the past, like a year ago, Lou sent me some stuff from AI that he thought was better than it was, but when I actually started to read the output, it wasn't as impressive as I believe he thought it was looking. And that was a big problem in the early days. However, using AI today, I'm going to say that while I'm not as convinced as Lou, it's definitely gone to this next level where it's doing some, whatever you want to call it, whatever tasks it's performing, it's acting in a way that I can't predict. It's not consistently great, but sometimes it's really like surprising.
It fell flat on its feet a couple days ago. A friend of mine, asked a question, because it keeps a history of all the questions you ask. So I said, okay, let's try something. Ask it to tell you what your strengths are. And it came back with this, 5 or 6 page thing filled with, platitudes, about, what a thinker he is, and the type, it was essentially based on the depth of the question versus the broadness of the question, or based on things that are quantifiable versus sort of just theory or other things, quant versus qualitative. It came back with a description of this person. And he's like, this is me dead on. I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, it sounds a lot like you. But let's ask the thing, what do you need to work on? What are your shortcomings?
Yeah.
Right? And it fell flat on its face. The shortcomings were all in relationship to the positives, only the things that it knew. And it framed it in a way like, while you're really good at this, some people may not like it. So it essentially was just taking the positives and turning them into the negatives. It didn't come back and say, hey, are you trying to figure out your shortcomings as it relates to work, find a job, your shortcomings as it relates to, your home life with your girlfriend or your boyfriend? Like,
it was just a broad question.
Yeah. The question was, what are my shortcomings? Right? Now, it didn't come back and say, here is the, what's the word I'm looking for? The rubric with which I'm going to come up and figure out, because your shortcomings are the needs that you have, your goals, minus what your current capabilities are equals your shortcomings, right? Where you're at minus where you want to be minus where you're at equals the gap, the delta. It just skipped over that whole part and just sort of said, okay, because I'm using an example, because you're so quantitative and you need to qualify everything with a number, people who don't like that may be put off. So, all it did was take the inverse of all of the things it knew about me, or my friend. And this is not my friend, proverbial. It really literally was a friend. We were doing it on Clubhouse Live. We're doing it on Clubhouse.
That's so funny.
It's not like, I have a friend who has a problem. It's not.
You doxed yourself.
No, not at all. It was Edward. It was Edward. It wasn't. We went through this exercise.
Oh, fuck Edward.
He's blind.
But that doesn't mean he's not evil. Fuck him.
We were talking about AI. We weren't talking about
Palestine or Israel or anything. We're just having a discussion on technology. And I think the thing fell flat on its face with that response.
Why did you leave us, Princessia?
Why did you leave us?
Oh, because I went to speak to my sister.
Which one?
Both of them.
Oh, both of them, right?
Yeah, but I was helping my niece during the weekend with math because she's gonna have a test today. So.
Ooh, what kind of math?
Math? No, math.
Math, M-A-T-H, right?
Yeah.
No, what type?
Oh, just like she's 10. She's
10.
starting
Okay.
to see. Yeah. It's
Yeah, word problem.
Fraction.
Yeah, fraction. Yeah, adding fractions with unlike denominators.
Yeah, but it was a nightmare.
You have a 10-year-old sister?
No, niece. Critical listening. Niece.
You have 2 sisters.
Yeah, I have 2.
Okay.
And they have 1 kid each. And they're both 11. Well, 10 and 11. They're 6 months. They got pregnant at the same time.
Wow.
They're twins.
Imagine if your twin sisters married twin brothers.
No, but they married friends.
My mom and one of her sisters married brothers.
You know, there's this really interesting genetic thing where
yeah, but that's
if
normal, Princessia, because you guys have got a lot of inbreeding.
No, that's not. It's not. Isa.
Diego, get this.
Wait. Sisters married brothers.
I know, but that. Yeah, I
it's not the norm. It's not the norm.
But I'm just joking.
It's becoming the norm in Europe.
Yeah, that's because, guess what?
I know.
You know, yeah, so.
They are cousins.
Twin sisters.
That's what I was about to say. Were they cousins?
Yeah, they're fourth cousins.
So here's a cool thing. If twin sisters marry twin brothers, their kids are both cousins and brothers at the same time.
No,
yes, they're called quadrilineal. They're called quadrilineal twins because the mothers, they inherit the same DNA from their mother and the same DNA for their father. So 50% is from both their mother and from their aunt, and 50% is from their father and their uncle. So they're cousins and brothers at the same time.
Yeah, but the expression is different because the epigenetics. But
no, it's called quadrilineal twins.
But I would say that in that case, like you can wife swap or whatever, and it's not moral.
Do you think that they could figure out, like, on a date that
manages to bring it to the next level?
That sounds more like Randy, Diego.
You're literally having sex with the same person.
No, I think emotionally they're probably big differences. And if you ask the right question,
they are like these type of sisters that are
think alike.
That have like 2 heads or whatever.
Oh, Siamese twin conjoined.
Yeah, exactly, joint sisters. I mean, and they get married. I mean, that
one of them has a kid.
Doing his fantasy, right? It's 4 boobs.
Did you see? No. Did you see the
2 heads?
Did you see the women? I think they're in Ohio. 2 heads, 2 breasts, 1 uterus. So, and one of them got pregnant. And apparently, they got married. One of the heads, I don't know which, got married to a guy. But somehow, like, I could make a claim legally that they both, since there's 1 uterus, both parents could claim that they are the mother. But apparently one is just claiming that she's the mother. I don't know how that works when you share 1 uterus.
The law has its limitations.
What?
The law has its limitations.
Yeah, it wasn't built to deal with this situation.
Yeah, I don't know that it can be.
No.
I mean, I don't know about that particular case, but sometimes.
They got married 2 years ago in silence. No one, they kept it a secret. Let me see if I can find it. I'll find the picture. I'll find the article. Yeah.
What's really going to frustrate the government is regular people using AI like Lou and discovering these loopholes that cannot be, fixed.
What loopholes?
I don't know. I'm just saying a loophole where I can be the parent of a child but legally not accountable. Something like that. Keep on.
Yeah, and you're going to hire Lou to find these things for you.
Lou will find them. Lou is going to be the next iteration of Doge. And there's going to, literally right now, if you just go on freaking ChatGPT or Grok, and you ask it to find contradictory laws that exist within the same field, it'll find them.
Okay, so you don't need a Lou for that.
So here is Abby and Brittany. Look how their heads just barely are separated. They're on one frame, two heads. And that guy married one of them. I'm not sure which one.
You only have sex with one of them, right?
No, they only have one. They only have one uterus and one vagina. So he's having sex with both of them at the same time. Apparently, they both have orgasms.
Now the question is,
Really?
do they feel everything?
Yes, they both.
Both hands are both hands.
He's only married to one of the heads.
Yes, exactly.
To the nervous system. So he's pleasing both.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know how one of them could claim maternity. They should both have it. They both have an equal claim. They both are pregnant at the same time.
So they were the two-headed bitch. So they were issued two separate birth certificates?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. I think the law, two brains. I think who a person is based on the brain, not the...
And not even so. They will be smarter because they're women.
Yeah, I mean, Diego, he got a birth certificate and he's not a full brain, so yeah, I guess they would...
Well, it's going to sound ridiculous, but it's okay, well, whose uterus is it, really? If
they share it. That's the funny thing. They're teachers, and they could teach different people, but the school system only pays them once. I found that, as a teacher, I found that amazing, and I was pissed off about that.
What do you teach? What do you teach at both?
Oh, I teach before I retired, I had fifth grade.
Okay.
Sorry, Lou, you were saying?
Kids are smart in fifth grade, aren't they?
They're a pain in the fucking ass in fifth grade. Yeah, they're smart. But they're just starting to sweat, and they're just starting to, in fourth grade, they're still Mr. Stein.
They start to sweat. So
they smell. They start to smell. No, they literally start to smell. No, but in fourth grade, they're nice.
Or why are you being racist?
No, fourth grade, white kids too. Fourth grade, they're nice. Oh, Mr. Steinberg, can I help you with your pencils? No, I've told my name. I don't give a shit. I'm self-doxing. Look at my with my profile. You can get my latitude and longitude.
Stein's money.
No.
It's just as bad as the dirty.
If you're smart, within 2 clicks, you can have the latitude and longitude of my house. Kids are very smart, but
Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
What?
They're smart but stinky.
Yeah, well, no, they start to.
And they have no opinions on it really the way at that age. Right?
They just know, they say free Palestine. They don't know what they're talking about. Sort of like the college.
They just say it.
It seems like you're tired.
They hear it from their parents. They're like,
hey,
little ornaments.
Makes me feel any better. I'm not going to talk about politics with mine. So.
Oh my God! Wait, you have kids? You've reproduced?
Some say.
How many kids you got?
Diego,
how many kids?
Anyway.
How many kids you got?
Many times.
I'm almost embarrassed to say at this point.
Oh wait, more than. Are you going to increase? Wait, we need more kids in the United States. You have at least 3 kids.
He's helping a TFR rate significantly.
Much more than that.
Yeah, we need the TFR above 2.1. So. On an average. So where are you?
Much
well, he's doing his part.
Oh, you're like at 6.
Himself.
Oh, he's including you. He's pulling your weight.
He's pulling my weight. I'm adopting Lou as well.
I have 3 kids, so I brought the national average up.
Nice.
Where are you? Like 5 or 6? Like where are you? You're like Muslims, family size?
It's kind of complicated.
Is the way to counteract?
Are we talking multiple mothers? How complicated could it be? A total number is a total number. It's not
I
complex.
don't want you writing any more reports on me and sending it to
please.
guys that
Those are too many questions, Yakov.
Oh my God! I asked one. How many kids do you
You're
have?
giving too many answers, Lisa.
Six baby mamas.
6 baby. Wow.
Why do you gotta say it? Why do you gotta say it?
6.
Yeah, he's like a black guy.
There's 6 lovely women. Let's just say it like this, Yakov. Having children is
it a prime number? It is a mitzvah. Do you have a prime number of kids?
I don't know about prime and natural numbers. I don't know any of that stuff.
Well, 2, 3, 5, 7.
I have a prime number, yeah.
11. I can keep on going. 13.
No, it has to be 5 or 7
Are you
because we
familiar?
have no reference, right? So it's either 5 or 7.
I don't know what a prime is, right?
So 5 or 7 is the answer.
Are you familiar with the Donald Rumsfeld? We have known knowns and known unknowns.
No what? Wait, what's the Donald Rumsfeld? What did he say?
Nora, can you pull out that quote? Put Donald Rumsfeld known knowns.
No knowns or no knows?
Known.
Could you have more than 3 kids and not know about it?
Of course you could.
Now, there's an important question, Danny.
He says there are unknown unknowns.
Yeah, that makes sense. So no knowns.
So you have to say the whole phrase.
Yeah, there are no knowns and unknown knowns. Unknown unknowns.
Exactly. There are known knowns. Then you have known unknowns.
Have you
then
done
you have
it on
unknown unknowns.
Did you know never? Let us just say that.
There are unknown unknowns.
Reports.
There are unknown
Reports that say something.
There are known unknowns.
Here,
and
reports
there are
that
known
say
unknowns.
The reports that say that something hasn't happened are always interesting to me because, as we know, there are known knowns. There are things we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know that there are some things that we do not know, but there are also unknown unknowns. And the ones we don't know. I agree.
Yeah, those are surprise. Those are called surprises. He's making this really he's trying to obfuscate. It's the word surprise.
What do you mean they're called surprises?
Because look, there's stuff. Look here. Go through his list. There are known knowns. So those are definite things. We know that the sun will come up tomorrow, right? There are things we know. These are things that we know.
Oh my God! Don't try to explain it. We get it.
Okay, so we also know there are known unknowns, right? There are 5 different possibilities of, doing something. And then there are things that just come out of the blue. We did not expect it. There are unknown unknowns. There are known unknowns.
It reminds me of a concept called Mumkin Melekut that I won't go down that path.
Is that some Islamic thing?
Yeah, I was listening to a lecture about it. But basically, the Melekut is a place that is uncreated and unknown.
But it has a name.
Amazing.
It has a name. There you go. Yeah. And the month is everything in the.
You promised you were not going to get into it.
Oh my God, Issa. Let's just say this at the teacher conferences, Yakov.
It's interesting.
People with many children are always your favorite parents.
Come on.
What?
I don't know. My friend came from a big family, but her parents, I don't know.
What's a big family? Tommy?
Obese.
I have a friend with 11. I think
My mom got on birth control at 28. I wish she didn't.
Well, it's her choice.
How many brothers do you have, Princess?
That's 3
You don't have to
brothers.
answer that. You don't know.
Only 3?
Yeah.
Well, that's a small family for a Muslim.
Yeah, she got on birth control at 28. She finished having all this by 28.
Wow.
How many children? I agree with that. So
Look at Meyer. He's got 9
I didn't agree with that
children.
either. I don't agree with that either.
does he? Wild. 9 kids.
Meyer has got 9 children and he's 45.
That's great.
Damn. I think Diogenes, right? He's got 5 or 6.
No, Diogenes has 4.
Randy's got 0.
What?
Oh my god, that's
Randy, how many kids you got that you're
He's
not aware
bad.
of?
My kids are like the sands of the seashore. They cannot be measured nor can they be counted.
Back to the discussion of testicles, right?
Randy has adopted a lot of kids here.
I will not comment on that.
Who is this in your PTR? I was trying to figure that out.
This is me.
I know who
That's
is it.
right.
This is me.
He does fit the voice.
It does fit the voice. Plus, he has worn that rabbi for so long that I already know like that.
No, I don't believe it.
Speaking of Black Rabbi, what happened to that guy? He's off the app.
No, he has a new
crash
account.
out.
He's scamming.
Not the app.
What?
He has a new account.
Oh, but I haven't even heard his voice. Like his voice is very everyone's voice is distinctive.
Is he still rabbi? Is it the guy with rabbi with
The drawing I made of
big
him.
letters?
No, but he's not in. Unless Amir is keeping him out of his rooms, he doesn't come by and self-center the stage around him.
He's hiding.
Yeah.
Well, he's still here, but he changed his name. Like he changed his account.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah, he's some American
No,
guy
he's
living in
Randy.
Israel.
He knows what's his name now.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Somali girl.
He
Can I
does
put
it.
those kids in line?
He has like 6 kids behind him, and they're all screaming. So cool. That's right.
Do you see how they scream your name?
That's right.
Where did you go, Randy? Why did you leave us?
I like that name now. Questions at the end.
I do a lot of things at work, so I a lot of shit. No, I'm back. How you doing?
Oh, did you meet Ting Ma?
Wait, I thought you get like the equivalent of food stamps in Canada. You work?
You're racist.
No, I'm not. I just thought he didn't do anything. It has nothing to do with the color of his skin.
How do you think I don't do anything if we were literally talking about, if we were talking about geospatial programs like QGIS or whatever?
You could be very intelligent and drop out and speak on the government's dime.
No, I told you, I literally need something like that for my work. I settled for QGIS. It's very slow, man. I think it gets the job done, though.
Oh.
Hey, Randy, in New York, you'll get $7,000 credit per child.
We get a lot of money. We get like 800.
Wow, are you shitting me? So wait, is that retroactive?
No,
I don't know.
Because I have 3 kids in their 20s and 30s. Maybe.
No.
I think you have to be under a certain amount of money, like $30,000 a year.
Yeah, no Jew will fit that.
So, how does that actually? What are you talking about? All of Williamsburg and those areas, they're doing it.
Yeah, but as a percent of Jewish population in New York, they're insignificant.
If I make $30,000 as a household and I have 5 kids, are you saying that?
Yeah, you are seriously in the poorhouse.
No. I'm saying are you saying that first of all, my $30K doesn't get taxed, but I also I'll get paid out $50K? Is that
You get paid out $50K, but you do get taxed on the 30.
Who makes 30K? No one makes 30K.
A lot of people make 30K. Wait, you get 50K non-taxable cash from the state of New York?
I'm serious. My friend has 4 kids, and he does it.
That's if their salary is how
He's
much?
Dominican.
He's a legal alien, probably.
That's if their salary less than 30K. I mean, what's
He's
30K
demonstrated a
do?
lot of cool stuff.
The 30K can't do shit in New York.
I was trying so it's not just like a credit, it's a write-off, it's literally
it's a charge.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How much does he get?
And that was
$7,000 10 years ago. I don't know if it's gone up by now.
Isabel, you are the definition of repetition teachers.
No, but wait. Is he saying that that's what he makes, and then he is able to claim from the government?
She gets me gassed.
What's going on? Why are you?
Are you talking about like the? Are you talking about the EITC?
No one's pissed at Isabel. She just requires a lot
I don't know what it's called, but it's a child tax credit.
Income
Tax
earned
credit.
income
But that's
tax
at the
credit.
federal level. That's not a state thing.
No, he told me it was from the state.
Everything is a state thing if you actually think about it.
No, everything is not.
State of mind?
Would really surprise me if anybody was getting
Well, the state
30 grand from the state was to have like 30 children.
The state can leave the union, therefore everything is the state.
There are things that are taxed at the state level and benefits from the state level, and there are things that are taxed at the federal level and benefits from the federal level. There's a two-tier hierarchy.
Yeah, but the state can leave the federal union.
No, but actually the states can leave.
That's what the Civil War was about, Randy. You can't leave.
You can't. There's nothing. That's one issue that we have in our government is there's no clause for leaving. It's once in, that's it.
So are you telling me if the great people of Texas decide to leave the United States of America, they can?
They can't.
They tried. They tried.
They legally can't.
Wow, so you guys are very Muslim. Like, people can join you, but they can't leave you?
It's like the Hotel California.
That's the whole point.
They can join you, but they can't leave. It's like, that's actually, it's not.
I'm unaware of any nation state that allows its like provinces or whatever to leave.
Canada.
It's not
It's
like the
kind of
European
defeats-
Union. dude.
Why would you have? Yeah.
What are you talking about? No, they can't in Canada. The Quebec secessionists have largely given up on
No, they just declared secession.
Totally bullshit.
They just declared it yesterday.
Quebec wanted to leave, and because Quebec wanted to leave, Canada had to kiss Quebecer ass, and that's why we have special laws for Quebec. So Quebec has its own immigration laws. It has its own this laws, that laws, whatever. Like, even if you check the Constitution, the Canadian Constitution has an asterisk next to certain things, and that means that this law does not apply. There's a different law in Quebec. Yeah, we can leave.
Alberta literally said yesterday that they're not going to adhere to any Canadian.
You're in the Matrix.
Yeah, there's no compulsion. You can come, you can go.
I don't think this is accurate.
I don't think
How
so.
about you ask ChatGPT?
In America, we call it secession. I don't know what we call it.
Canada is kind of like a different. They're so isolated in a way where I guess you could.
If that were the
See how it
case,
could work,
Canada would
but, like-
already be balkanized, and so would be the U.S.
Yeah, but no, because
Yes.
no, because the federal, that's not true.
California
Federal
would
government-
already not be part of the
My
U.S.
God, doesn't get it. But the federal government in Canada, it's a confederation in Canada, and the federal government stamps for Quebec because Quebec is the only one that wanted to separate. Now,
French ass.
Now Alberta wants to separate. No, not because of that, but because Quebec is the most populated province. Canada is already very underpopulated. If you're gonna take away the second largest population, I think that's something, Regardless, no, Alberta and Saskatchewan want to separate.
Well, I heard that it was Alberta that they said, like, you know what, we're not even going to pay taxes to the federal government anymore. We're done.
Because in Canada we have something called equalization payments, which means basically every province should have the same standard of living. So the haves always give the have-nots, and Alberta is the only actually productive province. So basically, if Alberta leaves, then we're all broke.
Yeah, like Canada.
So what are their demands? Like, what do they want?
They just change Alberta.
Yeah.
They want to be respected. So Quebec was demanding they want to leave, and if you want us to stay, then you're gonna respect our distinct identity, and you're gonna, all of that stuff. So Albertans now they're asking for representation and being. So basically, okay, you remember the Americans how in 1776 they did the Declaration of Independence because they believe that there's taxation without representation and whatever, and we're paying tax to the English, but we're not represented in their parliament. So we have a similar situation going on here where it is exploitative and all of that stuff because we're basically paying tax and doing all these things. However, everything is controlled by the East Coast. Albertans are telling you we pay 60% of the funds of everything in this country, but we get nothing. In fact, we're just simply being punished all the time.
We're being treated like what, Randy? Use a term that we would understand.
I mean, Alberta is very oil intensive, and then we're trying to shut down everything oil related. By the way, Canada can
I set him up for that one, Lou, and he didn't take it.
Dude, we can be the richest country. We can be far richer than Norway. We can be far richer than Switzerland. Canada has the resource-wise, dude, and capability of education of people and whatnot. I don't think there's any country on earth.
Why don't you then?
Because we have ideologues. We have leftists who, for example, we were all going to die in 5 years because of global warming.
But if it wasn't for the leftists, how would you be in Canada right now?
That's true. She's got a point.
No, she doesn't, because the conservatives in Canada are super far left to begin with.
And they need that
Yeah, but you
Randy
were able
Dick.
to make it to Canada because of the progressive rules of immigration.
No, there's no conservatives in Canada. There's conservatives.
But that's her point. If it were not for the liberals, you wouldn't be able to be in Canada right now.
That's not true. It's much harder to be an immigrant in Canada than in the US, for example. Because we have a welfare system.
My God.
Yeah.
Look at the size of this thing.
When you have a welfare system, it's much harder for you to become an immigrant. Because then they're going to be spending on you and shit. The only way you can come to Canada as an immigrant is if you have like a master's degree.
Which you lack.
I do have a master's degree. I came as
he's a DEI immigrant.
But it's very easy in Jordan to get a master's degree. Don't you
got
just
it from
pay a teacher them?
He got it from Lebanon.
You have to get your education in Canada.
No, you ask the king, and the king just gives it to you.
There you go.
That's right.
You get your education in Canada.
Oh, you didn't have a master's degree.
I got my master's degree in Canada.
So you're saying to be an immigrant or what? You just have money.
I thought you went to the American University in Jordan. What are you talking about?
Stocks. No, I didn't study in Jordan. But that's undergrad anyways. It's not in Jordan, no. I'm talking about grad school. So if you look at the stats, like immigrants are much more educated than Canadians. That's because we come here through education. International students.
Oh, Lebanon is the country I'm thinking of. Sorry.
Oh, Lebanon. Oh, Lebanon.
I just Lebanon. That's my undergrad square.
My country to thee. How are the women there?
Oh, Lebanon is a top tier country of the region.
Top tier ass.
Nah.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that. I was just saying.
I thought that's
in terms of how much I like them.
It is top tier ass. It is top tier in many ways. It is lowest tier in other ways.
Oman is pretty cool too.
What is?
You said risky mom.
Oman.
Your mom.
Oman country.
Oman country.
He doesn't get it. My God, we're trolling him.
Oman is very underrated.
I know, yeah, it's very, very cool. I don't know much about it except from a class I took a while ago. And then I watched the Anthony Bourdain episode on Oman.
I'm so sad that he killed himself.
Yeah, I just listened to his book. It was very good. I highly recommend it if you haven't. The Kitchen Confidential.
Dude, I really enjoyed watching his show. I'm not even like... even you think you know who did it. For culinary.
The Clintons.
Oh yeah, the Clintons.
And he left a pretty well thought out note.
Well, that would be difficult to take.
Yeah, you can't.
Is there a conspiracy behind his suicide?
But we could start one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, his pedophilic girlfriend
and the whole Epstein thing.
Epstein.
I'm really, dude. You know what, Randy? We shouldn't even. They're never gonna accept that Epstein didn't do anything wrong. They want to spew anti-Semitic hate.
Oh, speaking of anti-Semitic hate, I'm just walking by the bar that just had the controversy with Barstool Sports and stuff. I don't know if you guys heard about it.
Why didn't he chimp out, dude? What a big deal.
What happened? Tell me.
That's really
Oh
weird.
my God, you got to hear this one.
So at this bar that I'm walking by right now, some I imagine kids, like college students, ordered like bottle service. And when you get bottle service at like certain clubs and bars, they'll come out with like sparklers and like a sign, and you can like pick what you want to put on the sign. Usually it's something like "Happy Birthday, Jeffrey" or whatever, you know. But they decided to ask the servers to put "Fuck the Jews" on the sign, and instead,
an innocent little joke.
And instead, very innocent little joke, and instead of the server or the waitress or whatever you want to call her, bottle girl actually would be the term. Instead of the bottle girl thinking to herself like, maybe I like shouldn't do this, they just did it.
She said the customer's always
There's
right.
a reason she's a bottle girl.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Oh yeah, so actually, like I wouldn't even say. I mean, like they obviously
But
they
keep going.
fired.
What happened?
Shut
Oh,
up.
so they fired the employees, and then Dave Portnoy reached out to the parents of the kids and asked them if he would let them send their kids to Auschwitz to do like a tour of the camps. As like he said he wanted to turn it into like a learning educational experience.
Oh, so that's what you were saying before, Diego, about sending someone to Auschwitz. Okay.
So the fuck the Jews didn't have anything to do with the war going on? They were denying the Holocaust or what?
What if they put at the bar they put Muhammad was a pedophile?
That would have been amazing.
Would they have been promoted? And I honestly I would have.
No, they wouldn't have promoted it.
I'm just wondering if they would fire them.
Oh, of course they fucking would.
If they would send them to Saudi Arabia.
But there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to promote if they want to fucking promote that.
What you're missing here is that Dave Portnoy lost his shit. I mean, he went absolutely crazy.
He really didn't. I mean, I watched the videos of him responding.
He said, "I was fuming. That's what he said."
Yeah, he was.
He said he was gonna fire everybody. He said he was gonna fire everybody.
But he ultimately decided against doing that.
Yeah, because his attorneys told him not to.
But how does Portnoy relate to these bars? Is he the owner?
He's the owner. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if they would fire the people who put Muhammad's phone, and if they would send them to Saudi for education.
Oh, that's good one, actually.
He was clearly upset, but he ultimately had a pretty measured response, and I think
the attorney had a measured response.
I think you don't always have to listen to your attorney, as we've learned. So. So he listened to his maybe not. Ultimately after getting, I think it's reasonable to like get upset, but then it's your job as like an adult to like calm down and come to like a responsible plan.
But Evan, let's just talk about this guy for a second. You understand that Dave Portnoy became famous for posting a picture of an infant naked, right? That's how he became famous.
What? No, it's not.
I'm pretty sure he created this little. No, Diego, I'm pretty sure he created this thing called Barstool Sports. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a little like a media publication.
He posted a picture of Tom Brady's son, dude. Look it up. Just put Dave Portnoy, Tom Brady's son. Now, what I'm trying to say is here, are you familiar, and this is no pun intended that she's also Jewish, the Barbra Streisand effect?
Oh, I love Barbra Streisand.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen now. Now that we know we can trigger him like that, people are going to do it.
Because it was his bar. Is that the?
Well, I mean, I don't think. I mean, that's obviously the primary reason why is because his name is attached to it. But beyond that, around that he's is he Jewish himself? I don't know if he's Jewish himself.
I don't think he's Jewish.
Jewish.
I don't think he's Jewish.
Have you seen him try to put a nail into a board?
Regardless, he's an ally of the people in the great state of Israel. So he's going to stand against anti-Semitism.
That's right.
Good on him. I would feel just as bad if a bar posted "fuck the Palestinians." We don't need this kind of language.
Would you feel bad if they said "fuck Guatemala"?
What about what they're actually doing, Kevin? You don't feel bad about that?
I do. A lot of that's quite bad. I feel very bad for the civilians who are dying.
Okay.
Would you feel bad if they said "fuck the Guatemalans"?
When he says that, I don't think he likes. I don't know. Maybe he does.
Evan, I have a question.
Do you know what today is the anniversary of? There's nothing wrong with messing.
What?
The Kent State protesters were killed for protesting Vietnam.
Oh, you guys are very.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
And one day they're going to kill the Palestinian protesters too.
They're taking too much time.
There's nothing wrong with killing.
I honestly don't know if I would have an issue with that. I think we would. Yeah.
I mean, haven't you seen what Canada did to us during COVID?
It was basically the Holocaust. Evan,
I have a question.
You had to stay indoors at Goon for like 2 years straight.
Evan, PTR, is this how you properly wear this?
They literally put us in camps.
Yeah.
PTR, is that how you wear it?
A lot of people died. Oh, that's not funny.
Usually it's a little bit farther back to cover your bald spot, but that's fine.
Yeah, you should go.
What's he doing?
I think Trump wore it better when he kissed the wall.
Who was that?
Why does he look so? That's so. That photo makes him look bad.
Diego, did you see that video of that college student?
He's a fat old Jewish man.
They were asking college students like political questions, and one of them they asked was like, what are the 3 requirements to live in the United States or to be president of the United States? And one of them was like, you have to be 35 years old, you have to be born in the United States, or you have to be like a U.S. born citizen. And then the other kid was like, don't you also have to kiss that wall?
Yeah.
Wow.
And nobody else knew what he was talking about. It was a pretty funny one. I laughed at that one. That was a good one.
It was good.
It was great delivery too. That was the thing of like the non-specificity of that wall. I think was what sold it.
But it's true, you know. Great response, actually. It's if you say, don't you have to support Israel? Then it's like, that's weird. Even though it might not.
Why did the British royal family all have a personal boil?
I don't know why there's so many photos of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. You know, we might not know the answers to these questions. You know,
how many times
are there a lot?
Can you prove that?
No. Look, they don't like. Evan doesn't like Trump. These people don't like Epstein. We're not gonna. I don't think Epstein.
Can you prove?
I agree with you.
Can you prove it though? Can you prove that Epstein did anything?
No, they can't prove a goddamn thing. All they can prove is that they're anti-Semitic.
It is an anti-Semitic attack. Yes, here's a.
Why can't you just be straightforward? Just say you don't like him because he's a Jew. Don't turn him into some pedophile.
I will say the evidence, at least. I mean, obviously, once things got to the island, it got a lot more secretive. But the evidence surrounding what he was doing out of his home in what's it called I forget where in Florida. No, in Florida. He had this home in Florida. Forget the neighborhood. Very nice neighborhood. And he was like paying underage girls to like come over and give him massages, and then like also like maybe like do other stuff to him.
Have you heard
in his egg-shaped penis?
No. Have you heard the innocent until proven guilty, not until.
No, they don't.
Okay, you need to prove. Where's the proof?
Oh yeah, the proof was pretty overwhelming in court, and honestly, that was dismissed on pretty spurious grounds, likely relating to corruption with the judge. I mean, that's all like pretty well documented. I'm not gonna. You're doing a
basket trolling thing, and I'm
No,
not going to engage.
I never thought I would say this, but you're
I'm not engaging.
You're
I'm not engaging.
anti-Semitic, dude.
I'm not engaging. I'm not
You're
engaging.
anti-Semitic.
I'm not engaging. I'm not engaging, Randy. I refuse to engage. You can engage with yourself.
Well, I refuse to engage with anti-Semites. You're anti-Semitic.
That thing that you're talking about, Yuan, is in a Netflix documentary. The six episodes.
Yaakov,
that's what I watch.
What are we
The filthy rich.
They're attacking Jeffrey Epstein, and they're trying to make him seem like things he's not just because he's a Jew.
It's possible that the things that are making him seem to be could be true, but they just don't have the proof.
He was just a guy that likes massages.
Well, massages Trump, you know, he just likes young women, just like Epstein likes young women.
Prove it.
Nobody likes young women. No offense, respect.
Yeah. Well, have you guys seen that? Heard that quote from Trump where he's like, "Yeah, I get along with Jeffrey great. We both really love young women." That's what I love about Epstein. He's always surrounded by beautiful young women.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're minors. That does not mean they're minors.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't necessarily. You know.
So the claim is that Jeffrey Epstein was a voyeur and he has cameras all over his life.
Why do you feel the need to defend that?
Single video.
That's really
Where's
weird.
the videos? So where's the videos and the pictures?
I mean, there were. I'm pretty sure, like, at least that I'm sure there have been some photos taken. I mean.
Look, likely Trump was referring to Epstein, who was a partner with one of the beauty pageants, supermodels. Again, there's no evidence as to.
Where did he make his money? Where did he? Was he?
Epstein.
Yeah.
Oh, he got.
He could have been involved in many things, but that doesn't mean that he's a pedophile. You guys are trying.
Where did
like one?
How did he get? So he got his money initially through like investing on behalf of people. He apparently was a very skilled investor. So so he was like a money manager. But then over time, his like extortion racketeering thing kind of seemed to become a source of his money.
Again, we go back to the same circle. I mean, a lot of people say that he was paid by the Israeli intelligence and Mossad. Okay, can you prove that?
No. Where are the arrests? There's literally, he's the only one that was arrested and he's dead.
What about Ghislaine?
No, one of
guys. I'm not saying anything. I'm just wondering. You know, we know that
engaging, right?
Yeah, I'm not engaging. We know that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were very good friends, and then Trump is in office, and all of a sudden Epstein kills himself. Really, that's a little suspicious. You know, right before maybe he was about to testify about Trump.
But why would
what are you hinting at? Kevin, what are you hinting at?
Of course,
he's hinting at anything. Randy is
I think
hinting
Trump
at
killed Epstein to hide. Okay, I actually. Wait, guys, you want to hear my hot take? I actually.
You are claiming that he has certain things that you guys innocent until proven guilty, motherfucker. Innocent until proven guilty.
What's your take?
If you look into the details of at the very least the first thing against him, which he slipped out of, which was the little bit of prostitution, he slipped out of it. He slipped out of it. There was. You can look into it. The evidence is pretty overwhelming.
Innocent until proven guilty. I don't care if there's evidence.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. You can look at the proof that was presented during the trial, which wasn't contested. It wasn't contested on a basis of the facts. So I think
I didn't even make it to trial.
No. He was. This was a previous one. Like 10 years before this, in like the early 2010s, he almost got in trouble in the state of Florida for running a little ring in which he was using underage girls. Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of. I would need to. It's been a while since I watched it, but I thought that Filthy Rich documentary was pretty compelling.
You sound like a conservative with the whole Trump case.
Right now it sounds like you're rambling.
No, this is ridiculous. It
sounds like
thrown out. Nothing came of it.
So all I'm saying is that Trump is on the flight logs. Trump, according to Epstein, Trump and him were best friends for over 10 years in Epstein's own words. In Epstein's own words.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong. Come on,
honestly more than anything.
But why do you feel that that's a bad thing?
I'm simply pointing out the double standard from the conservative pedophile hunters who are calling every single fucking person a pedophile, except conservatives love talking about Epstein, but all of the most fucking
where's proof?
Like how?
Look, I don't think. Well, I already anything. No, hold on. Bill Clinton, I'm guilty to being objective. He did nothing on being on his flights 23 times and proved to me that Epstein did something wrong before I think someone as being guilty by association.
Exactly. Why would we judge those who associate with him if he did nothing wrong?
My God.
Can you prove the guy is a pedophile? Or is
prove that Epstein is. Yeah, I'd say there's enough evidence to say that Epstein. Well, technically, he'd be like an evophile or whatever.
Okay, exactly. So we found a Jew we can attack. You guys are admitting. That's all it is. Because you can't prove that he is these things. You just wanna believe it. Fine, go ahead, do that. Innocent until proven guilty. Yeah. Maybe that's why he got killed.
Do you think that guilty people ever evade accountability in the legal system?
No, I'm saying that you are innocent.